Hey, folks. I hope you're having a good weekend here on the holiday weekend. I did a little bit of work today myself, and then very lazy day today. I didn't play anything. I didn't do anything. I basically watched YouTube all day. I got the itch to actually play a couple of games, and it's just been so long since I played those games, and I'll talk about them later, that I had to go back and watch videos on YouTube on how to play them because it's just been so long. Um, boy, I was this close tonight. And what I want to talk about tonight, is it okay to not like a game? I want to get my banner up. Let me just get that banner up so we can talk about that. Is it okay to not like a game? And it just why that happened is I'll talk about the game in a minute here. Is I like to like all games, and I don't like to. When I talk to Ron, I'm like, geez, Ron, this game's not doing it for me, and it bugs me. It bugs me when I don't like a game, or at least right now I don't. Or maybe we talked about giving games second chances. Um, well, there's times that I give a game a second chance and I don't like it the second time around. It's kind of weird. As Bernie stops by, thanks for coming by. Ray around the layout, thanks for coming by, Ray. And yeah, is it okay if you don't like a game? I guess is what I wanted to talk about tonight. First let me show you this. Oh, Ray, by the way, I came this close tonight. I came this close um, to pulling the trigger on StreamYard 1080p. I had it in my cart, and for $12 I could have upgraded for the rest of the month or whatever, and I didn't. But I might. I just don't know if I want to take on that expense. But in case you're wondering, I have my other camera set up right next to me here, just out of the view, and this is the face cam. So this is how it would look on the APA cards here, if I get some light on there. That's about as good as I'm going to get that. If I get any closer, you can see that it does get blurry, but that's the sweet spot. Now, if I take out my ruler, I'm about 9 inches away. Okay, so about 9 inches away, and that's about as close as you can get with this camera without it losing focus there. But it should be a nice 1080p uncompressed signal on the correct yeah, not here. This is 720, but you know what I mean. So that is that. I'll excuse me. I'll switch that around here and point that at me so you can see what it looks like at me. Not that you really care, but some people want to see what it looks like if I put it on my face. I really, like I say, I was really close to pulling the trigger on that the 1080p. I just wanted to see it. But again, I like the plan I'm in. I don't really want to spend any more money if I don't have to. All right, so where's the? Let me just pop that over here, and let's see if that'll look good. Okay, so that's I think it is better. Honestly, you can see my messy office behind me here. That's the Elgato face cam, and I think it is a better looking camera. Maybe I'll swap it over here and put it here. And the good thing is if you bump up the StreamYard package to the next level, you can use two cameras and it's seamless, so you won't have that little delay that I'm having here. I think this is a little bit better now that I'm looking at my screen over here. And if I go back to the Logitech Brio, which is a fine camera on its own, I mean they're both looking good, I guess. I just think the other one's just a tad better, so to speak. And it would be nice to have. They say, when you're doing stuff like this, you really want to have, cuts of the camera to keep people's attention, because if it's just sitting there for a long time, it does get bored. So anyway, I am fighting a cough or something. I don't know what the heck I'm fighting here, but I am fighting something. Anyway, let's get back to the chat room here. Greg said, okay, so the question is it okay to not like a game? And I'll explain this in a little bit more depth here as well. You know what I could probably do with this camera over here? Maybe not. I could probably get my hang on a sec. Check this out. Oh, you can't see him. Oh, maybe. Yeah, there he is. You can see the dog. He's under the desk. He's right there. Right there. Sleeping under the desk right there. That's where he goes when I do my podcast. So you can get a little sneak peek there of Studio B with the dog back there sleeping. I suppose he doesn't like to listen. But so is it okay to not like a game? And here's how I got to that point. As Greg says, yes, but there's not much of a worse feeling in the world. Yes, you are correct. You like to watch. You like to like every game. I get that. Ron stops by here. Ron McGrath. Dave C. You say that's a nice picture. Yeah, it is. That camera's it's super. I mean, this Logitech Brio I got here for a while has been pretty good too. And Sports Time Machine says it looks good. And Bernie says your shots look really good with the new camera. Wouldn't spend the money. Yeah, it'd be another 20 something bucks a month to bump up. Now that would just be for StreamYard. My Streamlabs still will do the 1080p, and that's when it does look really good. But if I want to play golf with Ron or anybody else, and we want to come in here and StreamYard, and I want to shine it down on the screen there, I think the 1080p would be better. I might at some point play with it a little bit. What do you say? King Tuan Gaming, thanks for coming by. All right, so let's have this discussion here. It's a Saturday night. We're kicking back here. Let's have this discussion. Is it okay to not like a game? And here was my thinking here. And again, I'm not game bashing. I'm not saying games suck or whatever, but sometimes just things aren't for me. So Strat's having their big sale, okay, as we know. And if you go onto the Windows games and seasons, I think, are on sale. And if you think it's 10% off one, 20% off two, 30% off three. So basically, 30% off of three, it's almost like buy two, get one free. And that's when I used to like to load up on my Strat seasons. So I was going to go get some football because me and Ron were talking about the Strat football. And it's like, the Strat football game is pretty fun in the whole bit. So I said, boy, I'd like to get some more seasons with the Strat football. And I went back and I said, before I buy any more seasons, because I have a hard time figuring out how to get a game started and play a season in the football. The thing about the Strat games, PC games, they're fun, but every game seems like it was designed by somebody different because no two games are the same. They're very different. All four of them. They do different things. They open different ways. In the football, there's two different programs almost. Like there's the main program and the league program, and I just get confused about I just want to play a season and pick a team and play it, and I have a hard time figuring out how to do that. I just haven't played it that much. So just being honest with you, the football trips me up. The hockey, the basketball, and the baseball, I don't have that problem with. Football is just very different. And you really got to click around and play around to get that to work. I did get it to work, but anyway. So I went and I popped in a game, and I played 5 or 10 minutes of the football game. And I was like, there's a reason I don't play this game. I like it, and I looking at the dice and trying to figure out what it was, and I'm looking at the cards on the screen, and sometimes I figured it out, and sometimes I didn't. And then I went 3 and out, and the other team, I was playing defense, and I couldn't stop them, and I was getting aggravated, and I just wasn't having any fun. And I was talking to Ron about that, and I was like, Ron, I'm just not having fun. And I don't know if it's the football game itself, if it's me. It's probably me because I'm not that good of a player when it comes to playing defense or even offense. In Action PC, I suck. Great game. I suck at Action PC football. 2nd and 10's the same way. I play a quarter. 2nd and 10's great because you got the ticker there, so you can go to any game and jump in and out. You can go around the league, and that's so much fun. But I play a couple of plays, and I'm just toast, and I'm just not having fun with it. And so I talked to Ron today, and as I'll go back, I'll bounce around between the other camera here. What do you think? And so we'll talk over here for a minute on the newer camera. And I got just talking to Ron. I was like, Ron, what is it? Why do I not enjoy football games? And I tried a bunch of them today, and I was like, the one I really like is Football Mogul because it's like this. There's no animation. As you click on a play, done. Click on a play, done. And you can play a game in 5 or 10 minutes. And it's easy, and there's not a lot of anything to it. I find it very easy to play. So I was playing Football Mogul, and I really did like that. But then even that gets kind of boring after a while. I play a quarter or a half, and I'm just like, man, I don't know if I want to continue anymore with this game. So, and I like them all, but I don't like them all. And maybe it's just a phase I'm with right now because I want to play some football, but I'm really into tabletop right now. As you know, I'm playing a lot of baseball and a lot of hockey. It's a lot of dice roll, and I'm not doing much PC gaming right now, so to speak. I'm doing a lot of tabletop stuff. As I'll go back to the other camera so I can read the chat. I can't read the chat here without turning away, but I figured I'd try something new tonight. Maybe it's just the length of a football game. You're playing every play, and then when you start to lose, it's kind of frustrating and the whole bit. So I don't know what it is, but the football games are frustrating. So I decided I'm not going to get any seasons for Strat football, and it got me thinking. Is it okay to not like a game? Because all games are fun to a certain degree, but so let's see what you guys think here. As you like the Ramstein? Yeah, we just saw them. What was it, last fall? I think it was up here in Massachusetts. There, the stadium tour. It was a show. You know, we've seen them before, and I don't understand anything they're saying, but I love the just the music. I've always been a music guy, not so much lyrics. In fact, there's a couple of bands that there's a band I really like. I think they're called like Hell. Something stupid like that. And all they sing about is hell and bad things, but the music is so good. It's like, man, if I could just like not listen to the singer, this would be awesome. It's a good, just driving upbeat song, but then they talk about demons. It's like, oh man. But it's good. So that's the same with Rammstein. I have no idea what they're saying, but just a it gets you going, you know. But anyway, Bernie L stopping by, and Fenner stopping by, and I got a nasty cough here, so I'll be muting myself. So let's get into this discussion here. Is it okay to not like a game? And my game right now, it's actually most of the football games, because 2nd and 10 comes with all the seasons. Action PC, I think I got most of the 70s and 80s and 90s that I would ever want to play, including a couple of Tom Brady seasons in the 2000s. So I have the seasons, you know, but I just don't play them as much. Sports Mogul comes with all the seasons. Football Mogul, don't play that one as much. You know what game I really do enjoy out of all of them that I would choose to play the most is Inside Blitz from the Inside Sports games. That on the PC, I would never play that Cards and Dice, and I've seen Alan Shaw try to play that Cards and Dice, and God bless him for doing that. But I like the Inside Blitz. That one just clicks with me. And getting to what Greg says right here, I play games that didn't click with me the first time, but I go back after it, and sometimes they did. Sometimes you need to give yourself a second try. And I would agree with that, except I did like Strat football the first time, so I thought, and when I went back the second time, I was like, man, I'm not going to spend any money on seasons here. I mean, I have a handful of seasons for it, but I figured I'd take advantage of the sale. And I'm like, man, I don't think I'd want to play this long term. Maybe the games are just too long because, you know, if you want to follow the dice rolls in Strat on the football game and then follow the card, which I like to do when I play on a PC, I want to know what's going on. Sometimes it's okay just to click, but I want to follow the dice. How do we get to this point? You know, if I follow the dice, am I right? Am I wrong? I like to know what's going on. And with that game there, I was having a hard time figuring out what was going on, and it was kind of bugging me too. So between that and the length of it, it just, I went back to it a second time, and it just wasn't clicking with me. And although I did go back to History Maker Golf, and History Maker Golf clicked. And as you saw it, I played the other day on the table here, and I had an absolute blast with it. Not that I didn't the first time. Okay, that was one of those games that I enjoyed and went back to again, and I enjoyed even more. Because I'm like, wow, this game is a lot better than I remember it. This is so much fun. I think sometimes, you know, myself being new to gaming, I played a game. I played so many games in the beginning, and then I played so many games since. And then when I go way back to a game I played a couple years ago, I have a different look at it. And sometimes it's easier because I'm now into the gaming mode that when I play one of these games, it's like, oh man, this is so much easier than the first time. Sports Time Machine says league program opens the game. Yeah, I think I figured that out, but that was another tough one. And Bernie said, totally agree with me about Strat, and I pass on a sale. For me, passing on a sale is almost sacrilege, isn't it? You feel obligated to buy something. That's what I told Mr. Herson there from Appa, and I said, you know, if you had a sale. You know, if he had a sale this weekend, I'd buy a few more seasons. I'd even get another hockey season, and I get a ton of them behind me, but I would. Greg talks about Dice Nuts. I have Dice Nuts hockey. So he says Dice Nuts hockey and basketball games didn't blow me away the first time, but now I love them. I need to go back and check that out because I do have the Dice Nuts hockey. I did pick up 7071, I believe it was, and I started to try to learn that, and it just didn't grab me. And I was just like, this is not grabbing me. I don't know about this. Oh, I need to turn on this fan. Hang on one second. I always forget it gets really hot down here when I stream with all the lights, and I forget to put on a fan. So Dice Nuts hockey is what I want to go back to. I never did the basketball game, but I can see how if I went back, I might like it a little bit better. Sports Time Machine says the one thing about the football that is discouraging is football games take about an hour plus of time. Yeah, and I did talk about that as a Cleveland baseball fan stops by. And yes, it is good to see King Tuan Gaming here as well as we just talk about this. And just I want to know your thoughts on this, and is it okay to not like a game? And whether you go back to it or whether it's the first time, we talked about second chances. And sometimes I give a game a second chance, and it just didn't work for me. In fact, there's a baseball game, I don't want to mention it, that I really liked at first. But then after playing a lot of Strat and a lot of APA and a lot of season ticket and back to basics and what was the other one? Pocket Pennant Run. After I played all of those, this other game that I was playing, it didn't work for me anymore. And I remember one day I sat down and I played a bunch of games one day, and I get into like the fourth or fifth inning of that game and I quit. And I just says it's just not doing it for me right now. And it's not that I don't like it. These other ones just work better for me. I don't know what it is. Going back to the chat room here. And where are we now? I'm a little behind here. Oh yeah, of course you pull no punches at all. You'd say exactly how it is, no matter what it is, and I admire that. I admire that someone that can say that. I'm sure that's what Google Translate will do is understand Rammstein singing. Yeah, I'm sure it will. Sports Time Machine again. You don't hate the game, and hate's the strong word. I don't hate it. It's just when I tried to play it, I would play 5 or 10 minutes and I just gave up on it. It just only captivated me for so many minutes. So I don't hate it. You know what I mean? I think you hate the processes of the game and how long it takes. That might be. Although I have this huge itch to play fast action football from Downey, and that's a full play game. And I went back, and I was talking about that at the beginning of the chat here. I went back and watched some old videos on that about how to play it again. So I'm going to pull that out and play that because that was one of my funner games back in the day for full play. There was a lot of card flipping, and there's a lot of things to remember, but the game itself was fairly easy, and so was Solitaire Pro Football. But they're all tabletop games, not computer games. I don't know if that makes a difference. And SL says the vast majority of football games are competitive for 3 quarters. Yep, but that's part of it. But for me, it's getting out of the first quarter. When I'm playing on the computer here, with the exception of Inside Blitz, which plays like that. Okay, I really like Inside Blitz. I wish they would update that and make a bigger screen and do a few things differently with that. But that game itself on the computer is super fun. I really like that one. It's one of my favorite football games to play on the computer. I just think it's just, I start playing the game and I just start stinking at it, and I'm just like, I think I'm gonna, go play something else because this is just not fun. That's what it comes down to. Oh yeah, I don't doubt that. When we say something about that, about a game, that's the thing you got to be careful about. When you say something bad about a game, you're gonna have your people that are rabid about a game, not rabid, and they're gonna say, "Oh, you're a jerk because this is the best game." And I get it, and that's why I try not to say too many bad things about a game. I either just don't play it, or I tell you what my issue is with the game. My issue with the Strat Football is not the game itself. The game itself is fine. I like following on the cards. I don't always follow. Maybe that's part of my problem. I need to play it more. But I just get bored out of my tree after 5 or 10 minutes. I have a couple of possessions, and I'm just like, I don't want to go on. And I look, it's like, man, how long have I been playing this? It feels like I've been playing this game an hour, and I got nowhere. And I don't know. And maybe because it is the PC, maybe if I was playing on the tabletop, that it would be better because I'm more invested in it instead of just sitting there. You know, sometimes that takes you out of the mood too. But where if you're rolling dice and figuring it out, you know. Greg says nothing worse than a blow-up basketball or football game. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've had those, you know. And it's tough when you're streaming those. You know, when you play any game, baseball, hockey, whatever, when the game's out of hand and you know who's going to win, it's like, yeah, man, what do I do? You know? Let me see. Yeah, baseball blowouts are no fun either. Yep, exactly. Robbie's here. Says, I would say yes, it's okay not to like a game. That being said, what are you talking about sounds a bit more like a dysfunction you are having with football right now. Perhaps try quick play. Yeah, that's a very good suggestion, you know. Or play tabletop. You know, I have my Momentum football ready to go. I'm playing the 2016 playoffs. I almost pulled that out and streamed tonight. I've just been in a lazy mood and didn't feel like pulling it out, so I thought I'd just pull out the camera and chat. Anyway, Tom L's in here. Oh, ID's in here as well. Hi, ID. It's okay to not like a game. The game probably doesn't like you either, so it's no big deal. Yeah, I know, right? Let me jump back over to the face cam over here. This is my new camera over here that I've been. That's my overhead camera I've been using. You get to see the messy background, but at least you get to see what this camera looks like. I think this camera does a very good job streaming. It's uncompressed video, and this is still 720p here with StreamYard. I think it still looks really good. I was this close. As I said at the beginning of the show, this close to pulling the trigger on the 1080 StreamYard. I wanted to try it out for a couple of months to see if I would like it. I probably still should. I probably could have tonight, and that way I could have bounced between the cameras. It would have been flawless. But it is fun having this here. This is really nice. I just think it's a nice, clear picture. So anyway, I like to show that off a little bit from time to time. Because I got that. It's a new camera, and I want to show it off. Tom, good to see you, Tom, here. He says, I like strat football, baseball, and basketball, with basketball being his favorite. Yeah, you're a big basketball guy. I know that. My problem as far as not liking game is certain teams. Certain teams will kill any game with any sport for me. For instance, any Kobe Laker team. Okay, I get it. You know, so either you don't like the player itself, or maybe he's just too good and he dominates. You know, maybe so. That's a couple different ways of looking at that. And Sports Time Machine says Tom's more of a cards and dice guy. Even though he hates the Celtics growing up, he has a good Celtics replay going. Yeah. I will say that, well, you know, growing up, I was, you know, obviously still now I'm not a big Yankees guy. And then the Canadians crushed my Bruins so many times in the past. I was very sad. But I got to say now, I have a lot of respect for those teams, and I can play those teams now and be okay with it. And I think I've talked about that on the show, and we've had other topics, you know, playing as the enemy and the whole bit. You got to have a certain amount of respect for these teams. And the Montreal teams of the 70s were just ridiculous. And you got to respect that. The Lakers teams, you got to respect that. Even the Patriots teams, what they did the last 20 years or so, you just got to respect it. You don't have to like them. But right now, I didn't play Canadians on my tabletop for a long time. And finally, I started to do that, and I just got some respect for them now. I do. And again, it's fake. It ain't going to change what happened. If they won the cup, they won the cup that year. Whatever I do on my tabletop or my PC game is not going to change that. And if they didn't win it that year, that ain't going to change either. So keep in mind that as much as it kind of stinks playing certain teams and certain players, it's all in the past. You know, and I've kind of gotten over that, even though it does sometimes when you play, you know, as the Yankees and they win, you know, as a Boston guy, you don't like to do that, but you know, and I'm not sure what Tom plays. I pop into his channel once in a while. He does some great things there. He does so many basketball games. He's like the basketball guy. Tom jumps in here. Tom says, the PC games have become boring for me. And I think I can see that. At times, I can see how it can be kind of boring. I feel like I'm just clicking on things and not staying engaged. The cards and dice game help me stay more engaged. Yep. The flip side of that is the computer games will a lot of times sim games and allow you to play in a season with other teams progressing along. Whereas me, when I play on the tabletop, it's kind of that one game and that's about it. It's really hard to play every game in a season. So the PC games do some of the heavy lifting, and they do a nice job with that. And that's something you got to consider as well. So it's a yin and a yang. There's no right or wrong, really, because, it depends. It's all what you like. I like to do both. Lately, I've really been into open engines and cards and dice and tabletop stuff. Because I like figuring out. I want to solve the puzzle. Sorry, I keep needing this. I got this nice Adirondack grape stuff here. It's nice and cold in my throat. It's kind of keeping the swelling down. I didn't get to do a read today because, in the new food channel. How would that sound? Today we're going to make crepes. Yeah, that's going to sound real good, right? Yeah, ID doesn't let you know when he likes a game or not, That's the thing. ID keeps it all to himself. We just talked about that there. Let's see. Yeah, when he doesn't like a game, he gets entertaining. He does. Yes, he does. He makes good points, though. I will say, when ID doesn't, he makes good points. Sometimes he can be a little short, and, if he had a little more patience, he might figure things out and like the game. But I'm in the same boat. I don't have a lot of patience sometimes, and I want to get the game now and play it. If I don't get it, then I don't get it, and it means I don't understand it, and it's not the game for me. Sometimes you go back, you get a second look, and you get a good night's sleep, and you go back, and things make more sense. It's really weird how that happens, I think we used to do that when we played in bands back in the day. We'd be at band practice, and we just couldn't get the song, and I couldn't get the notes down, and it's like, all right, let's just go home and crash and wake up in the morning, and we'll come back to practice tomorrow, see how it goes. And we did that with a couple of video games too. I remember. Yeah, I'd play a game, Tomb Raider, Call of Duty, whatever game, and I couldn't beat it. And so I would go to sleep, get up in the morning, fire it up, and first try, I'd beat the guy and win the game. But sometimes it's just, you just need to step away and come back. And that goes for a lot of things in life. It really does. Alrighty. Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother topic as far as, when you don't get all the pieces or a chart or something like that. Yeah. But that's something they should correct. That's something that once you get all the pieces, you should be able to put it all together and then see how it goes. And I'm just talking about, you play a game, you have all the pieces, you have all the charts, you kind of figured it out more or less, and you just don't like it. And or maybe, like I said, there was a game I played that I really liked. But then I played some other games that it just worked for me a lot better than this other one. And I was like, this is where I want to be right here. I'm liking these a lot better. And I feel bad now that I don't play this other game. And I was tempted to go buy another season or two of this game that I don't play in case I play it in the future. But I'm like, if I'm not playing it now, I don't want to buy any more seasons for it. I'd rather buy seasons for games that I am playing. As Harold stops by. And he says, you say something bad about my game, there's going to be blood in the streets. Yeah, that's how it is sometimes. It really is. And World's Best Game, he liked more of his rants. I wish he disliked more games. No, we don't want ID not liking games. We want everybody to like the games. But it's just sometimes it's just, again, I was looking to buy. So what I'm going to do, so I actually started to write down. So I started to write down on my list here, what I was going to get. As you can see, I got baseball, football. Nothing for hockey right now because I think I have enough Strat Hockey PC that I don't play as much. But I was going to get a couple of footballs here to fill in some seasons. And I played it the other night, and I played 5 or 10 minutes, and that's about all I get out of that game. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because it's a click fest and I'm just clicking around, or if I'm just not enjoying it, or maybe because I couldn't stop the other team and I went 3 and out and that was frustrating me. It's just, whatever it wasn't working. So the couple of football seasons coming off the list, and I added baseball on here. So I do like the Strat baseball. I really like the Strat PC baseball. Surprisingly, I'm not really a baseball guy, but that one is awesome. I really do like that. And let's see what Bernie says here. Someone likes every game. Best just to pass when you don't like a game. Not worth the negative post you get. That's very good advice. No matter what game it is, game X, game Y, game Z, it's someone's favorite game. Even if it's a game you never heard of or whatever, you're right. There's always going to be people that love game X, game Y, and game Z. And if you say, I love game X, but I don't like game Y is not going to be happy with you. And you're right. So sometimes it's better not to talk about, the games that you don't like. Largely, I don't. And the only reason I'm talking about it tonight is I wanted to like it. I don't know if I've ever played a full game of Strat PC football. And again, it's not the game. It's like if you say, hey, Dave, what can we do to fix Strat PC football for you? I would say there's nothing you can do. I just don't know if I could play a full game on the PC, trying to read the dice rolls and follow it along, and then just being frustrated because I'm guessing wrong or my team's not making the plays. And I get that same way with Action PC football. I had so many games that I played and I was so frustrated. It's like, come on. Like, what's going on here? I can't move the ball. I can't. It was just really frustrating. Although the only thing about Action PC was you were able to play the offenses. And I don't know if you can do that in Strat. I think you have to pick one team to play. Or you can play both, but you still have to pick the defenses, and that's kind of awkward as well. But if you just play just both offenses, it's a little better. I would say that's a little better. Tom jumps back and says he plays all advanced with some super advanced. Oh, that's kind of cool. Nice. And Fanner says, I find second season too long, but still a solid game. And I want a football game a little shorter than that. Yep. I think that's the thing about football games is you got your quick play games, your Donnie quick play games. You got the 2-minute drill by Mike Owens, which is a couple of dice rolls. Solitaire Pro Football has a quick play mode as well, where it gives you the team ratings and you roll the dice, look at the chart, and you within 3 or 4 rolls you get a final score. So you have those, and you have your little bit bigger games, and I would put Fast Drive Football from Al Wilson as probably the top of the list of the next bump up into that category. And then you got your Downey games, your game-winning drive, the Momentum Football, and things like that. Those are the quicker play drive-by-drive games. And then you probably go from there. Maybe second season Express might be the bump up from there. And then you got to go to your full play games, which are play by play by play by play by play. And it doesn't matter what you do. If you're going to get 30 plays a quarter, that's 120 plays a game. And there's just no way around that. That's 120 dice rolls. Plus, if there's any penalties or anything like that, there's a lot of things to factor in there. Extra points and field goals don't count. So, I think it depends what you're looking for. I do like the Momentum Football. I don't know why. I like the colors of it. I like how it plays. It's nice and easy. Just everything about it I really do enjoy. It's maybe not the most accurate game I've played, but it's still very, very fun. I think I want to go back to either Solitaire Pro or Fast Action Football and play a full game. Fast Action Football was very generic, and I think it was a little bit easier than Solitaire Pro, but it was more generic, so to speak. But they both are very fun games. But I got the itch to play some football, and I tried to go back to the PC, and there's just not a good PC football game right now because they're all play by play by play. Again, Football Mogul is the fastest one to play, I think. But it could just be football games. It might not be that I don't like the game. It just might be that I don't want to play a full football game right now. And Greg says, advanced strat basketball is very fun. I wish they offers more retro seasons. I don't know how to play anything advanced with the basketball. I played the basic basketball. I really like it. But it's I enjoyed the strat basic basketball. I really did. But I still don't know anything about substitutions and double coverage. And that's the thing. I don't know anything about basketball. So I need a nice, simple basketball game so I don't have to worry about anything. That's why I liked regular season basketball was good, and even up-tempo basketball. I did like that because you just kind of rolled the dice and followed along, and you didn't have to play defense. You didn't have to make a lot of decisions. You just played the game, and it was really, really fun. Is this where I play the games? If you're asking me, Harold, yeah. Well, I play some here, and then some Studio A. I got a bigger table. I just can't stream from there. Let me see. And David says, I don't care for the majority of APRA strat games, but I enjoy watching streams of them by many different people. They're just not for me, and I'm good with it and enjoy the streams and community chats. Yep, and that's fine. I mean, everybody's got their favorite games they play. I happen to like both of them. I like the strat basic in baseball. I really do. The hockey, I like to play advanced and not super advanced. So, again, it's all personal taste. You know, which dressing do you want with your salad, so to speak, you know? And ID puts it good here, just looking at this. As time goes by, you live and learn different things. Sometimes you will change taste and want something different. You want to deep dives in the beginning, but now he likes the quick and easier things. And that's kind of where I am right now, too. Is for the longest time, I liked my deeper games. And I like checking, you know, runner speed and arm strength and this and that. Now I'm really liking the Strat and APA baseball basic, where it's just like boom, boom, boom. You know, and you get your result. It's a piece of cake. Excuse me. You know, pocket pen and run, kind of the same. Roll the dice, and you're done. Back to basics baseball. Another one. You're done. Status Pro. You know, playing that within Digital Diamond. You're done. And some of the other games that take a little bit longer to sort out, and there's a lot more looking around. Yeah, I agree. And Vince shows up. Yeah, I haven't seen Marco yet. I thought he might drop in tonight. Greg says he played 77 KC basketball game, and the Red Sox scored 13 runs at the bottom of the first, and it was 20-2 at the end of the fourth inning. Yeah. Oh, I played the other night, and I told you I posted the thing on Facebook actually, and I was playing my 78 Red Sox. I'm playing that offline APA, but I'm using Digital Diamond to keep track of everything and simulate the rest of the games. And I played the Milwaukee Brewers, and they lit me up. They were up 4-0, and I tied it. Then they went up 10-4. And so it was the top of the ninth. It was 10-4. I was like, oh, they were shutting me down. So I put in some pitcher and I let him ride, and he got lit up. They went through the order twice. They put up 10 runs and or 11 runs. I think it was 21-4. And I was just like, well, I ain't taking him out because I don't want to burn my bullpen out. I'm just going to leave him in. We've lost. Just accept it. And he finally got out of the inning, and then we went 1-2-3 in the ninth. So I'm glad I didn't bring in anybody, you know, for that point there. And that was me trying to manage the team. And I just said, okay, we're done, you know. And I am Stopped By. Says, I just found a channel last week, so all these games are new to me, and I'm trying to find my way. I purchased some Downey games, and I want to find some deeper games. That's exactly where I started. Not that long ago, 4 or 5 years ago. I'm still very new to this myself. And I started with the Downey games, and I got some quick play games, and then I went to something a little bit more advanced than that. And that's how you do it. What you need to do when you're new to this, at least what I found, is you need to rethink everything about playing games. You know, rolling dice and looking at charts, and rolling dice and looking at cards, and, you know, looking at, you know, offense and defensive ratings. You know, that it's all new. It's all new to us if you haven't done this before. So once you get that, the more games that you play, the next game becomes easier because you've done at least some of that. And then the next game is, you know, and so you start, you know, wading into the, you know, the pool, so to speak, you know. So you get your feet wet, and then you get in, and then you finally, boom, you do the whole plunge, you know. And by the time you get there, you've kind of worked your way in. So that's the way to do it. Start with the Downey games, play some quick play games, look around for some short to medium games to get your, you know, feet wet, and then you can go into the full blown, you know, 2.5 hour games, and you will eventually like them. They are kind of fun. So yes, well, thanks for coming by. Mo stopping by. He goes, I use the Glory Days football drive chart to conduct the drive, and then zoom in later in the drive and play it out. Works for any football game. Okay. Jimmy B stopping by. JB. I didn't get History Maker Baseball. Seems like everybody loves it, but it doesn't just click with me. Strat and Status Pro all the way for me. I would agree with you. I have History Maker Baseball. I tried it. I understood about 50% of it. I thought it'd be more like the golf game, and it's really different. There's a lot of things to remember. And I remember watching Al Red Sox fan play History Maker Baseball, and he was pulling his hair out in the beginning, trying to find things and making notes. He said he took a ton of notes to try to remind himself of all the things in the game. So I think once you get over the hurdle, you're all set. But yeah, just getting over the fence, so to speak, with that game, I never made it over the fence. And which is weird because the golf, piece of cake. The racing with a couple little quirks, I thought was fairly easy. The hockey was fairly easy, but it does some really weird things. The hockey, you can go down a bad rabbit hole with the hockey, and it's just not fun. If you don't go down that rabbit hole, Hockey Blast is pretty good. But the baseball game from Play is the one that I will go back to, and maybe the second time around will be easier, but I just found that I was getting too much was thrown at me at once. Let's just put it that way. It's almost like the app of golf, where if I try to factor in the wind and the course and this, and there's like 5 or 6 different things that you can add to app of golf that I don't, because I just want to play golf and not get hammered by remembering 6 or 8 different things, and that's kind of how I felt History Maker Baseball was. I had a hard time learning all those different things, and I just was like, I'm just gonna go back to the games I'm playing because I'm better at them. So I agree with that. I want to like that game, and I think once I play it again, I will. Because if Al can get through that, then I should be able to do. And let me see. And Greg says he loves it, but it's not for everyone, and that's the thing. It's not that I don't like the game or I hate the game. It's just right now that's just not one for me. Okay, some of the other Play games I absolutely love, but the baseball it's very different for me, and it's just something I need to spend more time with. And I've watched a lot of videos on it, and I have an idea what to do. I just would need to really sit down and give that game some time and some patience. That's the big thing, is patience. And sometimes I sit down here and it's like, I got about an hour. Do I want to try to start learning a new game, or do I want to bang on a couple games of App or a Strat, or maybe play a game of Apple Hockey and do something I'm familiar with? So I need to find the time, like I did with Hockey Bones. Let's be fair. There was a time that I was downing Hockey Bones, and Hockey Unreal will tell you that I was giving him all sorts of crap in the comments, and then I finally said I will give it some time. I took a couple of days, read the rules, played it out, watched the videos, and now I love Hockey Bones, and that could be the same thing here. And now let me go jump over here back to my my Elgato cams. This is the new one here, so you can see the difference in this one here. I should put this over here, but this is going to be mainly for my overhead cards and dice shot, because it's such a clearer camera. I think you can really see things better. I think maybe I'll swap them up and try it out. But so this is the new one over here from the different view, just in case you want to see that one there. And sorry about the cold drinks here. I am trying to coat my throat here. Let's see here. Ron McGrath. I played Strat. I just picked up App of Baseball and like it. I feel like I'm being unfaithful. I do. Yeah, I'm the same way. I feel sometimes too that I play a certain game and it's like, I'm not playing this game, so that must mean I'm mad at it, right? And I'm not. I'm playing this game and I'm enjoying this one. Doesn't mean I don't like this one, but I mean, that's what we've been programmed to think, right? Ron, is hey, I like apples. Oh, what's the matter? You don't like peaches? That's what we've been seeing on the internet, right? If you say anything good about anything, immediately someone comes back and says, "Oh, you don't like this." That's what we've been, the last 10, 15 years on social media. That's what we see. It's a lot of negativity. So you're exactly right. You feel you're being unfaithful because, you're playing a different game and you like it. And, that's not right. You should not be playing a new game and having fun, right? Yeah. Bernard, he says he likes the PC Replay Baseball because it's an exact duplicate of the cards and dice game, and it keeps all the stats and sims you don't want to play. Same with PC Replay Basketball. and the PC knows all the rules. You're right. I like the replay basketball, except it starts chugging for me. I was streaming that quite a bit back in 2020. I was playing the entire Celtic season, and at one point it was taking 5 or 10 seconds to roll the dice when it should have been instantaneous. So there's something that happened to that game on my computer, and Ron said he had the same problem. And I just went, the last time I tried to play it, it was so slow, I just, see ya. It just became unplayable. So, but the baseball game is good. Although, if as far as the exact duplicate of the CD game, Cards and Dice game, I beg to differ on that because I got gifted a version of that game, the Cards and Dice version, and when I went to play it and I used the PC as a guide, things were not adding up. And that's why I stopped playing that. And someone told me that there's a setting that you can say play exactly like Cards and Dice. Now, I don't know why games do this. I'm trying to play the game and learn the game, so I got the cards, and I'm getting an idea, so I get the result, and I go to the chart. Okay, hit the second base. Put it into the game. It's a hit to first base. What is going on? Why was I wrong? And that happened so many times. I just packed it up, put it away. It's like, I'm wrong. Either I don't know how to play the game or the computer is wrong. But if I get a 16 and I'm on chart 4 with 16, this is what the chart says. And the game is doing something different. And then I come to find out that there's a setting that allows the game to do something different. Why would you do that? Why would you have something different in the game? It's like the ASG Golf. I like ASG Golf. And you can roll your dice. Some of them. And the rest just appear magically on the screen, and it does certain things to the ball, and you can't follow it. That bugs me. It does. I want to roll the dice, figure out what happens, then put it in the computer, and be right. And when I'm not, that bugs the crap out of me. So I will say that I disagree with you there, unless I found that button that makes it exactly like the Cards and Dice game, and I need to go revisit that. Because it was a fun Cards and Dice game, and it was a fun computer game. It really was. And I was using that to keep all my stats until Digital Diamond come out, and Digital Diamond I found was just way easier. It was so much faster, and I didn't have to keep the tab open either. I could kind of just type in the result on Digital Diamond. I still like PC replay games, though. Don't get me wrong. I still like them. And Charles stopping by here. Evening, all. And it's absolutely okay to not like a game. That's one of the things I love about board gaming is there's something for every taste. That's a good way to put it. I like that. And because of that, there's ones you won't like. Yep. I mean, when you go to the buffet, right? When you go to the buffet, you're not going to like everything. The last buffet I went to, I think it was a Chinese buffet, a lower end Chinese buffet. And they brought out these huge crab legs. They were like size of my arm, that's how long they were. And they bring them out. Everybody flocked to them. And they bring them back to the table. They got like 10 of these legs on their plate. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to go with the chicken fingers. Yeah. So, but everybody had their taste. It really was. The Strat sale is Windows sale going on right now. Whereas you buy one season, 10% off, 2 seasons, 20% off, 3 seasons are 30% off. So it's almost a buy 2, get 1 free. Almost. So, but I think it's just on the computer stuff. I don't think it's for the Cards and Dice. And yeah, some season on sale. Yeah, digital. Okay, yep. So Harold just confirmed that, And Robbie says, I don't think there should ever be a reason for feeling bad about not liking a game either. I know you have said many times it's down to personal preference. Yeah, it is. I think it all depends on what you're doing and what you feel like doing. And, sometimes you have a bad day and you play a game, especially a newer game, and it's like, this game sucks. Blah, 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 blah. But you're having a bad day, and then you go back to it a little while later and you're like, okay, yeah, I just need to get some sleep and this game's okay. I've done that before too. I tend to be, when I'm tired, I get really short. My attention span is short, and I'm just like a firecracker ready to blow. Oh, Mo has the sale here. Okay. Strat sale is 20% off one PC season, 25% off of 2, and 30% off of more than 2. So it would be 3 or more. So, interesting. And Equalize says, no point in playing a game if you don't like it, even if a lot of people do like it. Yeah, that's the other thing, too. I think we do get guilted into playing some games because everyone likes it. And you're like, oh, man, why don't I like this game? Or why is this game not working for me? And that's exactly right. I'm going to put that up again. No point in playing a game if you don't like it. And largely, I don't. But at the same time, I want to like every game because I see other people playing it and enjoying it. It's like, why am I not enjoying this game? Let me see. And it is. It's all personal preference. It really is. And any word on the Strat bonus drops? They were doing something monthly for a while there. I don't know if they're still doing that. But yeah, if you do the PC stuff, check it out. Tommy Ballgame. Do I have a favorite cards and dice game and why? Do I have a favorite PC game? For me, it's Apple on both, and I play both because they're both different yet the same, I think he meant to say. Do I have a favorite? Well, I don't think I do because as soon as I have a favorite, I start playing something else, and that's my favorite. And I did that with video games, too, as Greg pops a question up here. Greg's talking about the piles of shame. Do you feel guilty about not playing a game that's gathering dust? I'll talk to that 1 second, Greg. But as far as my favorite, I don't think I have a favorite, and I don't have a worst either. I think there's fun to be having every game that I have, and every game does something a little bit different. I look at like Shootout Hockey, which is one of my favorite hockey games, and then Stone Cold Hockey, which came out last year. They are very similar, but they're also different, and sometimes I want what Stone Cold offers, and then sometimes I want what Shootout offers. I played a game of Shootout Hockey last night. I've been talking to Gary Brown about getting some more seasons for Stone Cold, so I'm going to be putting Stone Cold back in the show. And that's a great thing, because we have this buffet of games, and it depends what you're in the mood for. Do you want Chinese? Do you want Italian? Do you want burgers? Do you want steak? Do you want seafood? And that's what it comes down to. So my favorite game is whatever I'm in the mood for at the time. I tend to play some games more than others, so I guess unconsciously I'm kind of picking favorites at that point. But I play a lot of games, and I like the variety of games. I like the momentum football. It's not quite as accurate as I like, but I like how that plays. I really do. It's a no-nonsense, straightforward type of game. There's not a lot of things to worry about, and it's a blast. It really is. Now, Greg brings up the pile of shame, which is what we're going to call it here. Do I have games gathering dust? Yes, I do. And, they're PDFs. They're tabletop games. I have a little bit of everything. And everything gathers some dust at some point. It just kind of happens, and I don't know any way around that except to play them. Once in a while, like the other day, I pulled out app. I looked over here on my shelf, right? And maybe I can see a little bit better if I put on my Elgato face cam here. Yeah, I can see this is all my app hockey over there, and the bottom shelf is baseball. But all that's my my hockey seasons. And I said, I want to play some Apple hockey. And this is what I do once in a while to kind of, I go over, I pick a season that I haven't really played in a while. I think I pulled out 87, 88. I don't know if I've ever played a game in that. No, I think I played the Bruins-Devils playoffs. I think I did that. But I pulled out a couple of teams and played some 88, 87, 88. It was, what was it? Boston Hartford, I think. And I had a blast, just a one-off. And so every now and then I go, and I whether it's, on the Apple shelf or it's a PDF or on the PC, and I'll bang out a game just for that reason. So, yes, as far as that goes there, when the game's gathering dust, I like to go pull it out and play it. In fact, I have over here, I have all my Strat stuff. I just reorganized all my Strat baseball stuff. And I've been playing a lot of Strat 79. Somebody sold that to me at a reasonable price this year so I could play within my 79 replay that I'm doing. And I come down the stairs and I see my shelf with my Strat stuff. I'm like, okay, I need to play some Strat today. And so every time I walk around and see things, I'm like, okay, I need to play this, I need to play that. and that's kind of how I do it. Is I get a little project going. Every once in a while, I take a detour and I play a game or a season that I haven't done in a while, and it makes me feel better inside that okay, at least I played this. It's not just sitting there gathering dust. I have pulled it out. I've given it some love, whether I play it here on the channel or whether I just kind of play it offline. At least I played it. And Charles is like the cards and dice. Yep, cards and dice. Yes, it is. And Mo says, I don't like PC games where I can roll my own dice and input the results. Yep, that is ideal. When it comes to a PC game, that's a big deal. If you can do that, that's a huge deal. Or at least put in the plays. If you can't roll your own dice, at least be able to play the game on the table and then input the results. I do like that. ID asked me, have I played second season? Yes, I have. I played second season. I've only played one full game though, I think. And it's I enjoy it. I really do. ID, I'm sending you an email right now. I don't know if you're near your computer at all, but I just sent you an email. I played second season. I enjoy it. I really do. I think the new book is better. Not that I had the old book, but I seen people play the old game where they're flipping and flipping and flipping and flipping. In the new book, everything's kind of right there for you. Except it's like an interception or a huge play, but everything's right there. So I played second season. I've seen you play it. I've seen a few other people play it. I enjoy it. I think it's a very fun, full play game. One of the things I had an issue with is when you're looking at the players. And speak of the devil.
What is going on, big fella?
Oh, I can't hear you right now. Is that me or you?
It's probably me. Hang on.
Oh, it's me. There we go. Is that you now?
Can you hear me now?
I can. I didn't have you up on my mixer.
Oh, okay, cool. How's it going?
I'm doing. How are you doing with your health?
It's up and down. Right now it's down, but whatever. Let's just see let's just take it a day by time and see what happens.
How long ago was that surgery?
June 1st, so it's coming up to a year.
Almost a full year, huh?
Yeah. Almost a full year.
So
almost a year anniversary. I'm glad you invited me. I was actually gonna type that in the chat and say if you're looking for someone, because I know
I just go on
a lot and hacking. I'm like,
I've been having nasal drip all week long. I don't know what it is, but it's like so I'm gonna come on chat tonight and. So let's get back to second season again. The one problem I have with that game is that when you go to check somebody, right? So it's like, hey, is the linebacker a 2 or a 1? Is the right tackle of this? But there's the right tackle, then there's a backup, and there's like two different. There's always a second person at the position, and so I don't know when to check the second person. Do I just assume that the starters are in all the time unless they get hurt? Well, that was my what I'm saying is that so
I know what you're saying.
So you got like
check the packages. You should see some people coming in and out.
Yeah,
because some of the seasons are updated and it'll say like in parentheses behind the player's name it'll say pass. So if you go to a pass defense, you know that's the player that's in. But not all the seasons are like that because I have some that are like you. That are just everything is just player's name after player name after player.
I just like I said, I like that game, but there was a couple times where it's like, okay, is the outside linebacker, a 1 or a 0, whatever it was. And there's the outside linebacker, but then there's the backup. So I'm like, well, I'm going to assume it's going to be the main guy, but at what point is he come out of the game for a rest? So I mean, I guess you could just play it with all the main guys, you know what I mean? But
yeah, it's I mean the reason I asked you if you played that one was because of all of the deep football games, that one kind of flows the best for me.
I would agree. That one, because you got the chart right there, it's like, it's going to be a run against a pass defense, roll the dice, boom, there it is, and you're done. It really is. I think that one does very well.
Times you have to roll twice, and when you do, it's usually the results are either on the first page or the second page. So when you open your book, it's on one of those two pages. So
yeah, I have played that, and I bought a bunch of seasons during their last sale. So I have a bunch of seasons ready to go. I don't know why I wanted to play the fast action football, and that's a bam, bam, bam. you're flipping cards. Whose chart am I reading off of? What's the play going to be? Is it going to be a pass? Who's it going to? Is it complete? And how many yards? And so it's very like similar to back to basics baseball, where you just keep flipping to get the result.
Right.
And
Right.
but I think it's a very simple game to play. You just got to remember all the steps.
Well, I think this is a really good subject. I think a lot of people have some great comments. I'm glad you're showing this off.
Yeah, we've had a pretty good discussion tonight, and so Jimmy Beats talks about this is the one that kind of started it all for me. Strat PC football doesn't captivate me either. I love Strat cards and dice football, however, and sometimes, and Ron talks about this all the time. He says sometimes the cards and dice is better than the PC, and sometimes the PC is better than the cards and dice, and it's kind of personal preference. It really is. He says I don't like that they're incompatible with rolling cards and dice for one team and simming the rest of the season. Okay. I think you can roll your own dice in the Strat football. I think you can. I just find that I just get itchy when I sit.
I'm glad you had me on because this is, like I said, a great subject. But I think trying to answer the question why I don't like a game really is more comes down to what are you not happy with about the game? Like, is it taking too long? Is it not giving you enough stats? I mean, what's the issue with why you don't like it? Because I tend to find for myself, when I tend to not like a game, it's for a reason. And then that reason also goes with like all these other games that are like basically the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And somebody brought up a good point about the Strat football PC game. It's not doing anything that I don't like. And again, if you said, Dave, what could I change about that game to make you like it? I don't have an answer for that because it's just I had the same thing with Action PC Football and Second and 10 and a few of the other games that I have on the PC for football games. It's just I play 5 or 10 plays and then I just kind of I do one of these. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm just not into the game.
Yeah.
And that never happens on the cards and dice. I mean, sometimes I get a little antsy once in a while, but you're focused on the cards and dice. You know what I mean? And you're following the plays and you're trying to figure it out. But here you're just like, okay, outside run to this guy. What happens? Okay, nice. Okay, punt. Okay, nice. And it just sometimes it just doesn't grab you. And it's not the game. It's just
I think there is a huge, and I'm talking super huge difference between cards and dice on the table and playing them on the computer. I don't even think they're in the same realm. They're completely two different animals.
They're very, yep.
I have such a hard time. I mean, I am a PC gamer. I used to drive around when I lived in Ohio. My license plate was PC gamer. That's what I did. That was my goal, was to be a PC gamer, right? I could not play sports on PC games at all. I just cannot at all play sports because it's, as you say, it's all I'm doing is this. I'm not playing the game.
I know you probably heard me talk about this. One football game I do like is Inside Blitz. And because you are figuring it out, it's still a click fest, but you click on the play and it rolls the dice and it pulls up the cards and you got to click on the right part of the card to determine what happens on the play. And then
the thing is, it rolls the dice for you, and then it's telling you, here's the results. You got to go find out what the result is.
Exactly. Yes. Yep.
That is playing the game. Then you're not just clicking dice. That's why, yes, Inside Sports does that with their baseball and their hockey and everything.
I've often said they're inside the crease, right? It's inside the crease.
Yep.
Their PC game, I have it on the tabletop, but I haven't played much of it there. Their PC game would be my favorite PC hockey game if it would just sim some of the other games, so I could.
AI. It needs AI. Yeah.
And I brought that up to them, and they're like, "Yeah, we asked, and nobody wanted that." I'm like, everybody I've asked said they would love to see the Inside Sports games sim the other games so they could play a season with their favorite team without having to play every game for every team, because you just can't do that. But that game, it's so deep, it's so fun. I click around, I played the other night, and I had such a blast with that game. I'm like, man, this would be my go-to PC game. It really would. But they don't do that, so that's what
Well,
that is.
they've given me and everyone I know the same excuse is, oh, we offered this like 10 years ago and nobody wanted it. And I'm like, well, offer it again because the
Right.
100 people I know, we all want it. So I'm sure we would get a lot more feedback now.
Someone made a comment the other day on YouTube about, I don't know if it was a chat or a podcast or a video, and he says, the reason I don't play any of the inside games on the computer is because they don't sim any games. And so, yeah. Bernard says, PC games work better for players who want to play what-if seasons and games that really don't care about the mechanics of a game. Maybe. Charles says, Solitaire Pro Football is hitting the table tomorrow. I just pulled that out. That's back over here. So I found that, and I found Fast Action Football. So I'm going to be playing some football at some point here as well. And Greg says, I've been omitting penalties for my football games lately. Don't miss them. You know, that's a good point. You know, you played a lot of football games. Penalties, they can just wreck a game. And I know it happens in real life too, but I've watched a lot of you.
It can in hockey too.
Yeah, I think I saw you one time playing a game, and I think it was like 3 plays in a row you got a penalty, and you're like, this just would never happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe a couple plays in a row, a couple holdings, but something happened, and you were just like, I don't know what I'm going to do here, because I just don't. And that spawned a topic when it doesn't make sense. We did a show on when it doesn't make sense, and that was spawned from your football game when you were just like, what do I do? Do I continue with what it said, which makes no sense after the last couple of plays? And do I do what makes sense, or do I just say the hell with it, and this is what I rolled? And that's some of the frustration you can run into when you're playing on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. I think penalties is one of the biggest offenders with any sport, whether it's basketball, hockey, football, and for some reason it's all just math, right? It's just, oh, if you roll this number, it's going to be a penalty. Well, of course, you can roll that number 12 times in a row, and you're going to have 12 penalties in a row.
Yeah,
which doesn't make any sense in anybody's brain.
Yeah,
Nobody.
yeah. Although I will say that when we had David Arlington on from Hockey Bones, okay, when we had him on a couple months ago, and we were talking about the penalty situation, and I said, when I play some of these games, boy, I'll allow a couple of penalties, but then I'll roll a dice and say, look, 1, 2, or 3 is a penalty, 4, 5, 6 is not, because I've had enough penalties. And he brought up the fact that he's like, something, even when you get a penalty late in the game, okay, he says, that's kind of a culmination of the game. He says, that penalty happened at some point during that game.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you got it late and it might influence who wins the game, he goes, where did that penalty occurred? When you're done the game and you look at all the stats, that penalty happened somewhere. And he goes, I know it finished late in the game. It happened late in the game, and it doesn't make sense that a referee would call that, but you never know. Maybe he did get a stick up and hit somebody in the face, or maybe he did kick out his foot and trip him. Right. And he made a good point. He said, he goes, I played the penalties and let him stand. I started doing that, and I just whatever happened, I just made up a scenario in my head. And as much as I thought it wrecked the game, it must have been something pretty egregious to call. And I let them slide now. So I used to limit them. Now I kind of let them slide, except you get 3 or 4 in a row. I mean, if the team's playing 5-on-3, you're not going to call another penalty. Mm-hmm. No matter, it's just not going to happen. Right. So
that's the thing is we're playing a stat-based game, and all the stats are based upon real life. So a penalty will happen 1 out of every, we'll say, 6 plays. So on average, whenever you're playing the game, you're going to roll a dice, and whenever that penalty result comes up, it's going to come up about 1 every 6 plays. The problem with that is just taking everything in reference to the whole season, because you can have a specific, like in the 4th quarter of the Super Bowl, do you think the umpire is going to call a holding penalty on the left guard if it's just a little tug on the jersey?
Right, yeah.
You have to take into consideration the actual time of what's going on.
And the cards and dice don't do that. They don't care what time it is.
They don't know it's 4th quarter.
No, they don't.
Down in 20, and you're going to get, like I don't know how many times like stupid things like that. Like it's 4th down and 25, and you have to go for it, right? And then the defense pass interference, automatic first down, and you're like, they wouldn't do this. It's just they're not going to purposely pass interfere a guy knowing it's 4th down and 25. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I think penalties in hockey and football games are just kind of, they can be killers in the game. And I find that, any hockey game I play, the Hockey Bones probably is the best at sorting out penalties. Every other game I play, penalties are just, oh my gosh, I just can't figure them out. Sometimes I just do the best I can.
Here's what I think of. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Dan, Fast Drive, I have played Fast Drive football, and I do like Fast Drive football. And I talked about that earlier, that's a step up from the quick play game. So it's a drive-by drive game. And that's the Al Wilson game, and it's fantastic. Fast Drive football is fantastic, and I have played it. I really have played that one. So sometimes you want a little bit more meat on the bone than that too. But really, the next step is the full 2-hour game. There's just no way around. It's going to take you 2 hours if you want to do it.
You have to just basketball and football going into that.
Oh, basketball games! Holy cow!
How much you have to do in the game. It's going to take you a couple hours. I don't care how quick you are. It's going to take you a couple hours to play it.
Let me see. Jimmy B says, 2nd and 10 is his go-to for PC. It's not too in-depth and hits a sweet spot for me. I don't know all the variations of defenses and offenses. What I do like about that game is that you can play offense or defense for either team, any or all. And the idea that you could bounce in and out of games like, hey, let's go to St. Louis. That game is so good. But again, I play a quarter, and I've had enough. And it's not the game, but I'm the same way with the Strat football. I play a quarter, and it's 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is.
You're zoned out because all you're doing is clicking play.
And it's fun to figure that out and try to guess right. And when you're driving the ball, it's really kind of fun. But I don't know, I don't know what it is about those PC games for the football. My attention span, it just goes away. I get about 15 minutes, and that's about all I can do.
Right.
Except of Inside Blitz, and like you said, because you have to go find the solution.
You got to figure out the play. Yeah, you got to find out what was the outcome, and there's going to be several charts and several different cards you're going to have to look at.
Yeah.
Oh, it went from the quarterback and there was a pass, and then we got to look at the other receiver's card. And Inside Blitz is a great game.
I do. The Equalizer says it depends if you want a traditional football game or any other game for that matter. A game like Fast Drive is going to take much less time than Strat or Second Season. Yeah, because you're talking about a game that's drive by drive rather than play by play. So you're going to get, 15 drives or 17 or 18 drives in a game, maybe 20. I think game-winning drive is 10 and 10. So I think you get 20 drives in a game-winning drive from Downey. Whereas 20 drives compared to 30 plays a quarter. That's 120 plays. Right. That's a lot of dice roll. It's a lot of plays. So yeah, that's why they take so long. Fenner27 says, I was nervous about learning hockey. I started out with Shootout and love it. That's what I started out with too, and I love it. And he's going to try some more hockey games. There's some good hockey games out there. There really is. Try the Stone Cold Hockey. It's very similar to Shootout. A little bit more descriptive. Doesn't get you quite as many penalties and stuff or shots on net, but it's still a very fun game. So I would suggest that.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things from you guys about that. That's one of the ones I think that was the one that came out last year, and I just wasn't in the mood to get anything new at the time, and going through my medical thing, and so it was kind of not into getting new things at that time. But I think I would try it out. I'll try anything now.
That's a fun game. You start off, you roll a couple dice in the beginning. No, I'm sorry. You look at the team numbers, and it gives you a split number of a D20, and that's going to determine if some team controls the puck or if there's going to be a puck battle, so to speak. Excuse me. And then from there, the second dice will determine who gets the puck or who wins the puck battle. It's fairly simple as far as, there's a little flow chart that comes with the game, too. It says roll the dice. If this, then that. If this, then that. And within 5 minutes, you're really flowing. And it's like a play game. It's like, okay, Boston has the puck. Is their offense an 8? No, their offense is not an 8. Is their offense a 7? Their offense is a 7. They're going to get a shot from the slot. where they'd have a shot from the crease if they were an 8. If they were a 6 or less, they get a shot from the point. So it's very play-like in how it goes right down the tree, and you just look. Is the goalie? Then you look at the goalie. Is the goalie a 9? No, he's not a 9. He's an 8. Well, if he's an 8, he doesn't make the save. It's a goal.
Oh,
so it's
interesting.
Very, very, very. It's very simple. I like that. Charles says, and then after wading into the pool, you go back to the early games and bring in more advanced rules. Yes, you do. Yeah, that's the other thing about that. We were talking about starting simple and then going into the pool, playing the deeper games, and then you finally get the full play games. And that's the same way. Yeah, a good example there, Charles. As far as started off kind of simple, and then who was talking about that? Was that you, or was that someone else was talking about? Maybe it was Al. I think it was Al, Red Sox fan last night, talking about the wrestling games. He was just like, start off with the simple stuff, and then introduce everything. Don't overwhelm yourself at the beginning with all the rules. And get the basics. And I love games that have a basic mode. Get you up and running. Get good with that. Then add the rest of it. I do like that.
Yeah, and I think what you said earlier, I would like to rehash what you said about sometimes you're not getting it. You're upset about whatever. The wife pisses you off, or you had a bad day at work, and you're trying to learn something at the same time, and you're just not getting it. You need to step away. You need to just
absolutely,
take a step away, and then come back the next time. Because I don't know, when you mentioned that earlier, I was thinking, there's been a couple times like that, and then you said the next time you went back to the game, you got it first time. I'm like, that's happened to me. Like several times.
Sometimes you can just look at it too long, and then like I said, you come back the next day, you come back at it fresh, and you look at it, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's what it means. Right. But at the time, you were thinking, this is what it means, this is what it means, this is what it means, and then when you come back in and read it again the next day when you're fresh, you're like, oh, that's not what it means. So, and RJL, if you don't like a game, it's not fun to play. So he needs to have the game to be fun. I agree. It's got to be fun. Equalizer says Hockey Bones can be daunting at first. Yes, it can. Holy cow, it's daunting. But if you read the directions, it makes so much sense. That's one of those games that it gets a bad reputation. Just because when you look at the card, you're like, oh my gosh, it's like reading Chinese instructions on the back of a flashlight. You know what I mean? And But if you read it, it does make sense. And then just start to play it. Roll the dice and follow the cards and the symbols. And you're like, oh, okay. And within 5 or 10 minutes, you'll have most of the game down. That's how my Hockey Bones experience was.
Oh, yeah. I followed you along. I remember you when you went back to it the second time. And that was one of those games that you
Hey, talk for 1 second. I got to go get a cold drink here. Keep the crowd entertained for 1 second.
I'll keep them entertained for sure. I'm
all right.
Dance and do all kinds of cool things. I think it's important. I love how Dave says this, and I love how your comments and stuff. But I think everyone that says, "Oh, I only play a game when it's fun. I only play a game when it's fun. I only play a game when it's fun." Well, there are different levels of fun. Like for me, like there's fun where you're like, you're doing something really easy and you're beating the enemy and you're just having a good time doing it. And then there's also fun where you gotta sit down and kind of outthink your opponent. You gotta try to outmaneuver your opponent, and you gotta try to deep strategy and try to figure out how to pull this out from the jaws of defeat. That can be super fun. But you're talking about two completely different levels of fun there.
Yeah, it's got to be fun. Doesn't mean you have to win, but it's just got to be fun. And
well, that's what I was saying. Is what is fun? Like fun, some people consider fun is I'm winning 41-0, and I'm everything that's going, and I'm having a great time because Phil Esposito has 5 goals, and I'm just having a great time. And then there's also the time where it's like 3-3, triple overtime, and your beads of sweat coming down your forehead, and you're like, oh God. All right, who do I put in? Who do I put in? Type. Now, for that, some people think that is super fun.
Yeah. Oh, like I said, when you're playing the app of golf, and you're like, okay, my guy tends to hit to the left, so I should aim to the right. You know something? I'm aiming left. And I'm gonna go against everything that this guy hits. And you roll the dice, and he hits it right. And because you aimed left, it corrects it, and you land it right in the center of the fairway. And you're just like, man, that is sweet. Or when I'm playing baseball, and you bring in a pinch hitter, and the pinch hitter comes through with any kind of hit at all. That is so satisfying. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's like, oh yeah, I guess that right. I do like that.
Because you have that feeling that you made a difference. The decision you made was important to winning the game.
Yeah, and I don't like to make a lot of decisions, but sometimes I do, and when I do, it's kind of fun. Will says, yes, it's okay to not like a game. OOTP is probably the most played baseball game, but there are a few years I play a week or two and just leave off. Yeah, I've played OOTP a little bit. I have fun with it, but it's not always on my table. And Charles says he just played Cards and Dice ASG Golf with Chichi Rodriguez at Carnoustie in Scotland. That's another one I'm gonna play pretty soon. Is that one there? Is because it's very similar to the APA. Tebow said I would like the APA better than the ASG. I have ASG on the computer, but again, you can't roll all the dice on the computer. You can roll some of the dice.
Oh, okay.
And then
I heard
it
you say
rolls
that earlier. I don't have the computer version.
It rolls a couple. It rolls the.
I'm against. I wish they would just not. Here's what I wish. Like if I had another, right? I wish the computer programs would are designed to just help you with your cards and dice.
Yeah, but sometimes they roll extra dice and they'll do different things. Like the golf game, you can roll the red and the white, but the game rolls a blue, which is your left and right, and then it rolls a green, and I don't even know what the heck that is. So there's no way. If you look at the dice roll,
So I played ASG several times. I'm not an expert, but you have your two dice, which are going to give you a result on your card, and then your 1 to 6. So there's 6 columns that give you your distance from center. So it's either 5 left, 10 left, 15 left, 20 right, 5 right, or whatever. But the cool thing with ASG, which is different than APA, is you can aim anywhere. You don't have to follow the center line. So you just say, you just put a little pin or whatever where you're aiming.
Mm-hmm.
So you can aim all the way on the right-hand side of the fairway. And then if you hit it 10 left, you just go 10 left.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I do like that. Marco stopping by. We had Marco on the show last Friday night, and I hope he's doing well. I was watching him. I was watching his Soccer Blast video, actually, today. That's one of the things I was watching. Has there been a game you loved at first and then it never came back to your table? Yes. I've had a few which I really liked, and then after playing other games, I found I liked them better. And there was some that I played and went back to and had a hard time with. And I really don't want to say what it is because it's a very good game that I'm talking about here. But I think the more games that I play, sometimes you get into a groove, and it's like, what are you in the mood for today? And sometimes, right now, I'm in a baseball mood where it's like Strat Basic, APA Basic, and Back to Basics Baseball. It's real simple play games that go really quick, and even the Status Pro with the Digital Diamond. And it's just I can play these games quick, and there's not a lot of craziness going on. And there's other games. Sometimes I like to play the season ticket where you got to stop and look at this guy, and then look at this guy, and then see if he's going to steal the base, and But lately I've been into the quicker basic, and I've even dumbed down APA Hockey. I took away a lot of the extras, and I don't want to say I'm enjoying it more, but I'm saying the game flows a little bit better for me because I'm not stopping to check for matchups. I'm not stopping to check for dump-ins. And I used to love that.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And now I'm like, you know something? I'm going to play it a little bit more streamlined, and I find the games are a little bit smoother. That's just me. But, yeah, Marco, there's stuff that I've brought back to the table. Yeah. Gary Brown has excellent games and great customer service. Yeah, I love Gary. His great. I'll email him, and he'll get right back to me. And I can only say that's every game I bought is the intention of playing. However, I have many games I've yet to play. I think we all do. That's what it is. That's what we do. We collect them to a certain degree. I like to have them so I can play them. More often than not, they work their way out of the collection. It has to be spectacular to get the shelf space. Oh, Charles is a little bit okay. He's very particular. Okay.
I guess.
P-Jet loves every game. That's what he just said. And he likes the Expos hat. I do too.
Yeah, it's cool. That's cool.
So I'm behind here on my chat.
And
Sorry
I
about
will
that.
say, I like your camera as well. Your new camera is super sweet. I don't know how much feedback you've gotten on it, but I have to get some information because I need to upgrade a couple of my cameras. So
Yeah, I'll pop that on one more time. Let me take the
that was your lead into.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I'm back.
That's what a co-host does, man. He leads it right back
Yeah.
to you.
So Ray says, "Is it powered by Diet Mountain Dew?" No, I haven't had a Mountain Dew in years. I stopped all diet soda pretty much, except for the occasional Diet Coke at the drive-thru or whatever. But I used to. It was heavy Mountain Dew drinker, and now no, I don't do it anymore. They just invented a new Mountain Dew. It's Mountain Dew Zero, and I bought a 16 ouncer. Right, and I had it the other day. So okay, let me try it. Zero, whatever. I had about half of it. It was okay, right? It was zero sugar and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, but it still got all the caffeine of a Mountain Dew. And I was just like, I had half of it. I was just like, oh my gosh, I got to go run around. So yeah, I don't drink the Mountain Dew anymore. And that was my go-to drink. But yes, thank you, Ray. All right, so let me pop back onto the Elgato face cam. And so that's...
Oh, that's nice. That is super good. It's
Yeah,
so clear. It's like you said. It's night and day from the other one. I mean, you can tell.
It's and right now we're streaming 720p on StreamYard, so it's a 1080 camera, but it's scaled down right now. But it's still, I think, because it's
beautiful. Yeah.
I think because it's it's an uncompressed signal, and there's no microphone on this. That's the other thing. So if you're looking at this camera here, there's no microphone, so you will need a microphone. So if you want to, you can put this right next to the other one and use the other microphone if that's what you use. But they really focused on the camera with this, and this camera is fantastic, and I'm using it for my overhead stuff, and I think it does clear it up quite a bit.
Yeah,
So,
it does. You can definitely tell a difference.
So that's the Elgato face cam. This is a
I don't know if you
Logitech
want that
Brio.
on your face because then we would see all your wrinkles and
Yeah, I'm getting older. Yes, I know. And Charles says Appa Pro Hockey was his first sports sim. That's an interesting first sports sim.
Ooh,
It really is.
brutal right there.
Yeah, it is. And I'm very behind in the chat room, by the way. And PJet says, I'd say the number of penalties of Stone Cold and Shootout are equal. The thing is with Shootout, Shootout's going to get you your penalties and your shots on net. They have a shots on net chart that you can use. Stone Cold says right up front that we're going to get you a final score, we're going to get you goals and assists, and that's about it. We're not going to give you accurate penalties, and we're not going to give you accurate shots on net. The computer game, however, kind of tacks that stuff on after. So if you play and you get 2 penalties in Stone Cold on the computer, at the end of the game, you look at the box score, there's going to be all these other penalties that were in there, and they're kind of tacked on and estimated for that particular team. Cards and dice, you're not going to get that. Cards and dice, you're not going to get those proper stats. But he says that. He makes no bones about it. He's not trying to hide that by any means. Shootout records additional penalties that aren't actually penalties, while Stone Cold doesn't. And so the power plays in the game are somewhat equal, but yeah, if you're looking for stats and a box score, Shootout is going to be the way to go. And Doug says, "Yay, Appa Hockey!" Yeah, Doug's a big Appa Hockey guy. Yes, he is. Pops Reviews pops in. My games, as far as sports sims get back to the table, is Strat Football. I have the 2009 season, but just hard to bring it back to my table. Yeah. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. And Monica responds to him, that's my answer as well. Love Strat Football. Even created a fantasy league. Got 4 to 5 weeks in, but hasn't been on his table most of the year. Yep. Oh, no. We need to block this guy right here.
Oh, yeah. Get him out of there.
Somebody
Get
block
him
this guy.
out
Mr. Tebow. He's been doing some golf videos, and I think he did a football video I was watching.
Did a football? Yeah. He did an in-depth video on football, too. So,
Yep.
And I even posted a comment, and I said, boy, you're just going to try and make me buy this again, aren't you?
Right. Yeah, I hear you. But he's been doing the golf videos
He
too, and
does
I've
it
been.
so good. He does it so good.
He,
He could. He's one of these guys that can convince you to buy swampland in Florida.
this guy, he's so patient. It's unbelievable. He'll do
He
a
is.
video. I mean, he's the type of guy that could do a video in the middle of an earthquake. You know what I mean? Everything could be falling around, the ground could be opening up, and volcanoes everywhere. And he'd be like, okay, so now what you want to do? Okay, we're going to roll a 15. A 15. Let's look at the chart. And everything just crumbling around him. Getting his picture. He's so calm and
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
when he does. He takes his time. And myself, when I play a game, I'm trying to rush and get to the next thing. And he just takes his time. And he's like, I don't care if it takes me all day. It's like, he's just got the patience. It's so good. It's so good.
He is. He's a blast.
And Pops Reviews, I feel you, Mark. Sometimes too, you only have a certain amount of time in the the day for games. So sometimes the game has to pull you to play. Otherwise, it keeps getting pushed back. Yep. Yep. Do you ever get this though yourself or anybody in the chat room? Does the game ever call you to play?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever
Oh,
like
yeah.
woken up one morning and be like, you know something? This game is calling me, and it's kind of like I look over here and the box is like shaking, and it's like, play me, play me, play me. And I go, and it happened to me with Momentum Football a few months ago. I was like, I wake up in the morning and I hear this noise downstairs. I come down and the box is rattling, and it's Momentum Football. And I open it up. It's like, oh, it's like, okay, I'm gonna play some Momentum Football today. And every once in a while, I just get this urge to play a game that I haven't played in a while.
Yeah.
And you know, like I say, I'm getting that urge right now to play some Stone Cold hockey. So I was talking to Gary about put the PDS back online because I want to play some Stone Cold hockey. I want to order some seasons here. I don't want to play on the computer. I want to play on the table. And I got this big itch to play some Stone Cold right now.
Nice. It is definitely. I get calls all the time. Play this, play that. In fact, I'm driving home from work, going, "What am I going to play when I get home?" And I'm imagining looking at my shelf, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to pull this off, and I'm going to play it."
Yep. And Charles says he loves how the ASG does the short game. So Tebow and Charles a little bit different on that. Inside the Cup is great, but needs more courses. I have Inside the Cup. I have it for the computer. I think it is. And I actually enjoy that game.
Yeah,
I really do.
It's really good.
It's a fun game to play.
It's good. I would say about the biggest problem with that game again is they didn't get the support. They don't sell a lot of it, so they just don't really do anything with it. Yeah.
I do play to win sometimes, but most of the time, see when I play to win, I get too competitive and I get like this. Excuse me. So when I can play a couple of teams and just enjoy it, it's so much more enjoyable when I just play and I don't care who wins. And sometimes I do. And sometimes I get pretty worked up about, when a team's playing bad or not doing well and I want them to win. And it can be frustrating, especially if you're in a project, just like you're playing the playoffs and, the team that you were hoping for gets eliminated. It can be kind of maddening. I mean, let's face it, we get emotional with this stuff. This is very emotional for us. It's very personal, some of these games. Now, if I just pick out a team, if I play Pittsburgh, Toronto from 1976. Yeah, I don't care who wins that, But sometimes I'm playing a game and I do want to win,
I usually I tend to not play anything unless I'm have a goal in mind. I usually don't do like one-offs and stuff like that, just because I've got so many things to play. I don't have time to just mess around.
And Mo says, after watching Dave play Appa, so glad I went with ASG. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I will try ASG at some point. Who knows? I might love it. But I might like Appa better. Who knows?
They are, I will say this, as they are very similar, but they are different beasts. It's kind of like having a mango and a peach. They're very similar-ish, but they're definitely different.
And Mo says that you do get the game cat. I haven't tried that yet. At some point, I will break that out, And Andrew says, flow or lack of flow can make or break a game. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. And he says he's got a 200-plus game collection. I think I'm getting up there myself, And he said
I would highly recommend, this is what I did last year with all my wargaming group. I told them, go to Board Game Geek and put every one of your games in there and log every time you make a play.
Oh, wow.
So at the end of the year, you can go back and see exactly what you've done and how many games you played.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
you need to
interesting.
do that.
That's a good
So
idea, actually.
every month at the end of the month, I review and go back and say, this is what I did in April. These are the games we played. I played 27 different games. I had 6 new games on the channel. Blah 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 blah. And I have it all recorded now.
Oh, that's interesting. That's pretty cool. Beers Den 00 I bought Player of the Game Golf, watching both of our videos on it. That's an interesting game. It's a round by round game, but it's not just as simple as rolling dice because it'll check the qualities once in a while of the player, and that's what's neat. So you can roll the dice, and it just says whatever his average is. That's his, but it might say check his irons or check his putting, and then that'll give you the score for the round. That is kind of fun. Although, when you're playing a whole bunch of golfers, that can be a beast of a game to play, but it is kind of fun.
Yeah, it's only a couple. It's going to be one roll or maybe 2 rolls per golfer per round. So you got 70 golfers. You're talking like 280 rolls. So it can still be quite in depth. Nice quality picture, yeah.
Yeah, do the do.
I just recently picked the do back up. That's why I was interested to hear your thoughts on it.
Really, I like the I did Diet Mountain Dew and Diet Pepsi for years, and I had a lot of stomach problems. And someone posted on Facebook one day, says, "I'm quitting soda because I'm tired of the stomach problems." I was like, "I'll quit with you," and I did. For 6 or 7 or 8 years now, I really have been drinking a lot of diet soda. I do a lot of the sparkling water stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to do. Once in a while, I do pull out a zero sugar ginger ale, so technically that's a diet soda there once in a while. But, that was my thing, like all day long, Diet Mountain Dew and Diet Pepsi. And
yeah, I noticed it is, first of all, it's not good for your health.
Yeah.
Second of all, I put on like 25 pounds since I started drinking the
sodas again?
Yeah, the sugar. It's basically just sugar. That's all it is.
Tebow says he couldn't even watch the other guys play History Maker games. Now he's close to buying his first play game since they come out with 98 for baseball. So Tower and Bill Thornton attempting. Yeah, and we talked about the History Maker baseball a little bit earlier there. I like the History Maker golf, and I like the Hockey Blast and the racing game. Those are the 3 that I have in the football game, second season. So 4 play games I really like. The baseball was just different enough for me, and I'm not a big enough baseball guy right now to sink the time into learning that game. And I tried it, and I got tripped up, and then we talking about how Al Red Sox fan was trying to figure it out, and he had to make like all these notes on it. There's a lot to it. And, people say, it's not an easy game. Guy comes to the plate, and you can't just roll the dice sometimes to see what happens. You got to think about all these other factors that are going on. Is the pitcher hot? Is the batter hot? What chart do you read from? What happened before this? What happened in the inning before?
Team unity or whatever it is. Yeah.
There's just so many things you need to remember. And that's where it tripped me up because I'm like, man, if it was just like the golf game, you roll, is he a duffer? Is he a superstar? Then this. That would have been easy enough. But there's so many other things woven into that game that I haven't played it. And I have it, but I just haven't played it. But I'm hoping maybe if I go back to it, we talk about going back to games, now that I played the golf, it might be easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I kind of agree with you on their History Maker baseball, and I'm not a big fan of the History Maker hockey either. I can understand the golf, and I can understand the racing. I think these are better games for that system. I like how they did the red, white, and blue racing one.
I like the racing. I'm not even a racing fan, and I played that. And he says, yeah, a couple of guys talking about Board Game Geek again. I'm a little bit behind in my chat here, folks. We got a lot of
I was going to let you try to catch up.
The one thing about the racing that I thought was neat is, like I said, I'm not a racing fan. I don't really know how NASCAR does it actually, but I like to watch sometimes the races. But what when I watch people play the red, white, and blue racing, it's like, something. So you do the beginning and you get all the where everybody goes, right? And so now you got 36 cars or whatever it is. and like these guys in the back, they don't have a chance, right? They don't have a chance at winning this race. And so I'm like, how's this game gonna handle that, right? I played a race, and there was a guy. I don't know if he was dead last, but he was in the middle of the pack of the last group because you have like the leader, and then second and third, and then you got like this group and this group. So there's like 4 or 5 different groups. He was in the last group at the way at the back. He wiggled his way into first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was just like, I was pretty amazed at that. Now he didn't. He only stayed there until I made the next roll, and then the leader overtook him. But he worked his way back. Whoever this guy was, couple of car wrecks, he slides up. This guy's out, slides into this group. Now he gets to challenge this. He's challenged and wins the challenge. And then now he's over here. Holy crap! This guy's in first place. He was probably back around 20th, and now he's in first place. He got bumped out, and he finished pretty high. But I said, "There's no way the guy in the back can," and he did, and he did.
Yep.
So kudos for that game there.
Yep.
Marco says he had a German idea to make a political election game. No idea how to even begin. Yeah, it might be fun. Donnie has a political game. I think there's a couple of political games out there. I think Donnie is the one of them there.
Yeah.
And Ron McGrath says, Mountain Dew, that's funny. I just bought some. Yep. We're all the same. Yeah, we're all the same. Those late nights with Mountain Dew, I had many of them.
Yeah. I mean, that's just what we do.
Yep. Fast Drive Football is technically, I guess it is technically kind of a play game. He worked really hard with those guys on that. And where are we now here? P-Jet, he had races where Carter started in 43rd, finished second. Red, White, and Blue is a fantastic game. Yep. Oh, yeah, Play has a political game too. It's like
here's what I would say about the Red, White, and Blue racing is you're basically you're rolling each turn is basically a complete lap of whatever it is. So whenever you're rolling, you're making changes for that lap. The only issue, or not really issue, I have is it just seems like I would think like everybody comes to like the last 5 laps and they really push to go forward. So I think you should do like 2 rolls for each of the things so that you have twice as much going on, because I think at the end of the race more happens. That's kind of the only issue.
Yeah, so that game, so you roll the dice and you figure out like which group you're looking at, right? I think that's how that goes.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
so
some
like in
groups
the
don't move.
final lap of the race, you could end up rolling the guys that are in the back end, and you know already who won the race because nothing's going to change up front.
Yeah. But sometimes in racing, there's not a lot of changes in leaders anyway. If you're in the back, sometimes you're in the back, and that's just where it is,
That's the way it is, right?
And he says the Play tennis game is good too. Yeah. I bought it, and I haven't played it yet, but I heard it was very fun. Each turn, Red, White, and Blue is 10 laps. Yeah, so it's not a turn by turn. It is,
laps, whatever. Yeah.
It's a highlight thing. Yeah. Here's a question I want to ask you here. Have you ever just been in a bad mood and a game just didn't work for you because you were in a bad mood, and then you realize that maybe it's me, not the game?
Yeah, that happens some. We're just maybe not even like a bad mood, but you're just expecting something, and then you get something else. So you're not happy with what you got. You're like, oh, I thought this was either more complex or less complex or whatever. I'm just not happy with it because I not get what I want, what I thought it was going to be. And yeah, that can make you very upset and instantaneously not like the game.
Yeah, I've been tired from either not sleeping or from work or whatever, and I've come down to try to play a game, and it just not working. And then I'll give Ron a call, and I'm like, this game sucks, and this and that, and that. He's like, step away. He goes, you're tired. I can see it. You're aggravated. He goes, just don't play it right now. He goes, go play Apple hockey, something that you know how to play. Don't do this right now. And I'll go and I'll play something else, get it out of my system, and then I'll come back when I'm more refreshed, and it's like, yeah, okay, yep, that was the right move. Just I wasn't in the mood for that. Whatever it was bugging me.
Mm-hmm. Here's a great question, and I think this is even a better question that you should ask yourself. Do you ever play a game and find yourself saying, I wish I was rather, instead of playing this, I was playing that?
Oh yeah.
And then you say to yourself, well, why am I playing this when I would rather play that and I can just go get that and play it instead?
Yes. Yep. And I don't have any examples, but yeah, I just sometimes I'll be playing a game and I'll be like, you know something, this is okay, but I would much rather be playing this game.
Right. Right.
At least at that moment. Yeah. 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 I've been there, and there's been times that I've okay, quit, save. You know what I mean? Walk away and then go get the game I really do want to play. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I tend to go on streaks. And I did this with video games too. I would get into a video game and I would just play it forever. And then when I get done with it, then I wouldn't go back to it for a long time. But I get on a game and I can't help myself. I'm just enjoying it so much. I don't want to stop playing it. And whatever game it is, whether it's game X or game Y, and sometimes it's a new game, sometimes it's a game I just discovered that might be an older game, and sometimes like it's APBA baseball right now. Loving APBA baseball, and I played it before and it was okay, but I'm loving it now. I'm loving Strat basic baseball. I find when I do the advanced, it's choppy for me, so I play the basic, and I love it. And I just last night I sat here, so I pulled out Strat basic and I played a game. I was offline and I played a game, and I had a blast, And I think that was the one that went. I started after Al's chat, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play a quick game of Strat here in my 1979 season, whatever it was, Texas and whoever, Baltimore or something, and of course, Baltimore ties it up in the ninth, and I go to extra innings, and now I'm in the 13th inning, and it's 12:30 at night, going on quarter of one. And man, I want to go to bed here, but here I am in the 13th. What do I do?
Right. Right. Yeah, you got to keep going. Yeah, you just got to.
But yeah, there's been times that I get on a streak and and when I play the game, like I was playing that Strat Basic last night, I was like, I'm loving this. I could play this all night. That's why I did play it all night, because I just there's some games that just click really well for me, and I stick with them. And I play the games that I like.
I said when you had done your talk about 20 minutes ago, I said Dave's answer is my answer exactly. Our favorite game is the game we're currently playing, because I tend to feel that way. It's like, oh, this is the best game ever, and I can play this game forever. And I would play it like 20 times in a row,
Yep.
and then I'll play something else, and I'll be like, oh, this is the best game ever.
Yeah, because you sit down and you pull out the game like, oh man, why haven't I played this in so long? I love this game, And then you play it and you pull out another game like, why haven't I played this game?
Yeah,
It's such a good problem to have, And a couple of people here saying if they're in the mood, they don't play any games, I get that, you know what I mean? Yeah, if you're not in a good mood, I hear that. We had people here working at the house. A 2-day job turned into a full week, and they're clomping through the house, and so I could have come down here and played all day long because I had to stay out of their way. They're upstairs working, but it was just having them in the house and just hearing the drills and the saws and I didn't play a thing for the whole week because things were just like I go upstairs and the couches are over here and the windows are over here. I'm just like. It's like things are disrupted enough that I come downstairs and I just like I don't know. I didn't play anything. I think I played one game of APBA baseball or something, but I didn't do anything. It was really, really weird. I had the time. I was confined down here to Studio B. I had to stay away from upstairs, but I wasn't in the mood to play anything. It was strange, And I think that's another thing too. Is are you in the mood to play? Just when they're upstairs and they're clumping around, it's like I have to stay here. I couldn't even use the bathroom because they're in the bathroom doing some stuff there. I'm like, what do I do now? And couldn't walk the dog. I couldn't do any of my normal routine. I was so out of my routine because they were doing some work in the house here. I was like, oh man, this kind of sucks. I wasn't in the mood.
Yeah. There's been times like that where it's just like I just you get burned out. You just need a break. You need to just step away. I don't know if I told you this or not, but I have this huge, it's 4 foot by 6 foot wood desk, and it had the real fancy desk with the glass on top of it. The glass shattered the other day,
Oh.
and like cracks everywhere. And
Oh.
so I'm like, I am not really in the mood to like try to tear all my stuff apart and move all my boxes of games so I can put this
Yeah.
glass and throw the glass away and everything. So I finally did that today. And then after I got done with that, I was reinvigorated to get another game in.
Yep. Battlefield 2042. That's one I haven't played. I played a lot of Battlefield 2 and a lot of Battlefield 4 way back in the day. You know what I'm trying to get into?
Original Battlefield, man. Back in Battlefield, you remember Battlefield 1942?
Yeah, I didn't play
That was
much of
like
that
the
one either.
original one that came
Yeah.
out. Yeah, way
That
back.
was really old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I've been looking into doing lately is some non-sports gaming stuff. I actually
You come to my house, my brother.
yeah, exactly.
I had 686 different games, so I can get you into wargaming. I can get you into Euro games, Ameritrash. What do you want to talk about? How about Dark Gothic? You want to play some Dark Gothic? This is a card game.
I started to play on the PC was Star Realms. It's a deck building game, and I never knew what a deck building game was. I don't even know what it was. I remember going to PAX East for many years, and they had these deck building games that says I don't know what a deck building game is. So I finally learned that, and I've been playing a couple on the PC. It's been kind of fun because I need to play a lot of solo stuff. I can't play a lot of stuff with multiple players. So when I look for games, it's got to be something that's solo. So I got a couple of non-sports games. I don't think they're war games yet. I would like to find. I do have one war game. It's kind of a futuristic one. I think I told you about that one. It's oh, I forget what it's called. I'll go show you in a minute. I'll get it out of the closet. But I'm trying to play just something a little bit different here. It's kind of fun. I got a little space game that I play too. That you roll the dice and you manipulate your guys on the ship to either shoot the enemy or put out fires or something like that. That's really kind of fun too. So I got a couple small games that I play that are really fun.
I mean, if you're looking for some good recommendations,
I was watching some of your stuff, but I was watching some the other day. It says here's the 10 best introductory war games, and they got the tweezers with the little things there. I'm like, I'm not ready for that yet. I'd like something like. Who was it? A slower board game was D-Day Dice. Yeah. Chris was playing that, and I was looking at that.
D-Day Dice. It's a great introductory game. It's basically like Yahtzee, but you're going to keep track of how many guys you have.
Yeah.
And your special resources.
Yeah. Let me. I'm going to see if I can find that game real quick. Hang on one second. I'm going to see if I can get that game. So talk to the crowd here for 1 second.
Okay, I'm back to talking with you guys. Hey everybody, how you guys doing? Good to see everybody. 648 different games on the War Room today. The reason I know that is because we were giving games away. And one of the questions I asked everyone that was at the War Room was, guess how many games I had? And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you can go to Pub Meeple. If you have your board game collection in Board Game Geek, you can go to Pub Meeple and pull up your collection. And it'll tell you how many games you have. D-Day Dice is good. Yeah, I think it's a great intro game. I'm going to talk about many great intro games for you guys. Especially solo games. Warfighter. I'm going to recommend Warfighter to Dave. Let's see. I'm going to grab that.
All right, so I did find that game, by the way.
I'm just dragging some recommendations down for you.
So this is the game that I have, Pocket Landship, and it's a very small game.
Yeah.
And so it's a futuristic game, and you start off with 3 cards at the bottom. Picture Space Invaders. You get to 3 guys here, and you're fighting 9 of the other guys, and you roll the dice, and you can either do damage to them, you can repair yourself, you can take no damage next round, whatever it is. So you take your turn, and then you roll the dice for the enemy. And then you look at their top 3 cards, and they either do damage or whatever to you. And it's kind of like a game of Space Invaders, and it's very simple to play, and it's really, really fun. So that's Pocket Landship
Mm-hmm.
is what I've been playing here. Then this is the space game, Deep Space D6. Okay, and so there's your spaceship. Okay, when you open up, it's just a board, and so you put all your guys here on the spaceship, and then you got to fight the enemies, which are actually the enemies are on this side over here, and so you have sometimes you have enemies on the outside, and then you have enemies on the inside you have to fight. So you roll the dice, and you're like, okay, I'm going to take 2 shots and kill this enemy, but I need to send 2 engineers over here to put out this fire, and so it's a constant player management type of game. I find it's very, very difficult to win. What I tend to do a lot is just play less enemies.
Kind of cheating the system. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah,
That's the only way to win. Now, what I did play here, and I actually played it on the channel, was Epic Defenders.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's a whole line of Epic games.
Yeah.
This one I found was really, really fun. It's just kind of like almost like a tower defense game where you roll the dice, you set your people, and then you see what the enemy's going to do, and then you got to try to fight off the enemies and try to just survive so many rounds. And I found it's a very, very fun type of game there. Very simple.
All right.
And then the other one was I haven't opened it yet, but Epic Galaxies is very similar to Epic Defenders. So those are the 4 kind of non-sports games, and but you can see how small the boxes are and how they're a very, very simple type of game. They're really not too bad. Oh, I have that. Yeah,
you played that.
But I don't play it anymore. It is too freaking hard. Too freaking hard. If you roll a 1, you might as well just end the game. Yep. You need to get 5s and 6s to beat all the guys. I have it on the PC, I have it on the iPad, and I have it behind me in the closet. I almost pulled that out too. But damn it, it's like, okay, you need.
It's an easy game though. It's an
easy game to play.
It's not easy to win, but it's easy to.
It's like, okay, I need 8 pink and 12 blue, and you roll, and you're like, okay, I have 4 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
And you take all this damage.
Good. Yep.
Now, I did hear that if you play the campaign mode, then when you're done, you get some perks. And that's how you can actually level up your character, and then as you do that, it gets easier to win. But I find it's like, man, I need 12 red or 12 pink. I get 3 dice. If I don't roll at least a 4 on all of them, I'm going to fail.
Right.
And you see the 1 come up, and you're just like, forget it, we're done. So it's all contingent on the dice rolls, and that game makes me really angry. And it's a fun game, it's an easy game, but boy, it just kicks you.
Here's another recommendation for you.
Yes, I heard about that one. Yep.
You heard about this one?
Yep.
Okay, but here's the thing going to this is there are many, many tests that you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
The only way to pass is roll a 5 or a 6 on the dice. So if you don't like passing or failing tests sometimes, that's probably not the game for you. If you're into war games, this is what I would recommend.
Yeah, Warfighter
first. This is a card. This is mostly card.
Let me write that down.
And you're going to be organizing your cards into your little squad, and you're going to send your squad out into missions, and then you're going to run into enemies, and you're going to have to deal with those enemies. And there's the World War II version. There is a Pacific version. This is the Pacific version, obviously.
Okay.
There's modern day. If you'd rather do like modern time Warfighter, and there's also like a pseudo terrorism one that's called like black. I don't have it, so it's like dark black, dark, something like that. I forget the name of it, but that's a great intro game to wargaming. It's easy to learn. You're picking a mission. Just send your squad out. It's going to give you so many points, and then you spend these points on whatever you want. You can buy like one guy that's super, super good, and he's got bazookas and machine guns, and he's got everything, or you can buy like 5 guys, depending on how many points you want to spend. But these guys are like the worst 5 guys that you could ever buy.
Really?
Everybody has a value, right? So like the really good guys cost you like 40 points to buy, and the really bad guys cost you like 8 points. So, and then of course you got to outfit them with guns and
Yep.
this, that, and the other thing. So,
I wrote it down, so that's one thing. I like to, like I say, I like to play the card games now. It's just got to be somewhat easy to play, and I don't like when there's like hundreds of pieces. It's like I'm not at that level yet. One day I will.
I'm gonna show you another one.
D. Smith says Warfighter is a good call. Okay.
This is if you want to play Space
Oh, I
Invaders,
saw that one too. Yeah.
get this game. It's
Yep,
like $20.
Yeah, let me write that one down. I did see that.
This is one of the best values you could ever get for
Yes.
a board game. It's only $20 to $25. You have a campaign that you can go through, or you can just do one-off missions. It's basically, it's Space Invaders, but with this bottom part of the board.
Yeah, I did see people playing that.
Where
Yep.
you're building underground buildings that you can activate, and there is a really good strategy in this game. This is in my top 100 games of all time.
Okay, Falling Sky. Yeah, I'll write that down. I did hear about Final Girl. I heard it was great, but I hear that you're gonna like it so much that you're gonna buy everything. It's gonna get really expensive. So, I did hear that.
Final Girl is.
Yeah. I'm hearing good things about that.
There's all kinds of different Final Girls. The cool thing with them is you can mix and match them. So you can take the enemy from one and the Final Girl from another one and kind of combine them.
Oh, nice.
But they're basically all based upon your scary movies. You know, there's like a Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I did hear that. Yep.
There's a Freddy Krueger one. There's a Poltergeist one. So I mean, they're all basically just rehashes of your favorite horror.
D. Smith says Undaunted is another good card war game. I'll write that one down and check that one out as well.
That is the only reason I would not recommend that game is it's expensive to get into.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Expensive game. You're going to be booking down a few dollars for that one.
Here's let me share this right here. So this is my let me see here, Pocket Landship. So I don't know if that's coming.
I'm looking for a good solo one.
So that's the Pocket Landship, the game I was telling you about. So you got your 3 cards at the bottom, and then you have the 9 enemies above you there, and so you roll the dice and you roll 3 dice for yourself, and you just on each card it's 1 to 6 what you can do, 1 to 6, and you got to decide what you want to do, and that's the dice that you flip up on the top. And then you do the same for the enemy. So you roll the dice and you figure out what they're going to do to you. And it's a solo little game, and it's sometimes it's difficult and sometimes it's easy. And I find it just kind of fun to play. And it's simple. It's a very, very simple game. It's hard to find though. It's hard to find Pocket Landship because I think it's from overseas. But I was lucky enough to find it. So, but yeah, Pocket Landship is kind of fun to play. I should play more of that. Again, it's another one. I would say,
of course, an oldie but a goodie, one of the all-time greats, Pandemic.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, supposedly there's a Star Wars game that's just like Pandemic too.
Pandemic, Star Wars: The Clone Wars is like one of the most popular games.
Yeah, yep, the Clone Wars. Yep. Let's see. Do I have any discussion on do-it-yourself games? I have it. I know IG's worked on some games. Yeah.
Design your own games.
Coin by GMT says
there's a whole series of games. Now those are good intro, but I would not jump right into those because those are basically you're running 4 different factions at the same time, and it can be overwhelming.
Okay.
Yeah, they are a higher barrier to get into, I think. And he loathes Pandemic. Well, I mean, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
It is a very simplistic game, I will say. It's one of these games that just core mechanics is very simple to learn. I'm just trying to think of easy solo games that Dave would 20 minutes he can learn and playing it.
Well, it's funny you talk about as we'll direct it back to sports here for a second. We talk about high price point and getting in. Some of the games that we play, it is a high price point to get in, and we talk about this all the time. It's like, how are we going to get new blood? Playing games when you say, yeah, you're going to have to cough up $100 or so to play. that's a lot of money to play to start jumping in a new game. Now we're used to it. I mean, the app of the Strat or whatever we play here. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get a season. I'm gonna throw up $80 and it's no big deal because we play the game. We love the game. But trying to convince somebody new, yeah, okay, the game's $40 and the season's 80, so it's $120. But boy, it's tough to get in. Once you're in, you're all set because then you know what you're getting into. But it is the introductory is kind of hard.
Yeah, I think it is. I just bought my first replay baseball season and my first replay basketball season, and it was just the core season box plus the season file for basketball and baseball, and it was like $186 for the two games.
Mm.
And I'm
Yeah, I
like,
know. Yeah,
ooh.
yeah. It's like I look at that. It's like I need to make sure I'm going to play that. And I agree. I could never play. That's one of the reasons I didn't play Pandemic, is I just don't want to. Yeah, after all the stuff we went through, I stay away from like even the movies now. Oh, there's a movie about a plague and an outbreak. Nope, don't want to watch it. It just no. A few years ago maybe, but let me see. And let me see. Charles says, I hate any game that can beat you before you take a single turn, and the cards can absolutely line up in a way that happens in Pandemic. Oh well, maybe it can. That's a bummer. Baseball Highlights 2045. I think I've seen that game. Is that the game you get to? I think I've seen that game.
Yeah, it's more of a management game than a sports sim.
Yeah, yeah,
that's the way I would look at it. It's more of like you're managing the team, let alone you're not like replaying a game. It's and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, but it's different. I would say it's different. There's also a football 4065, I think, 2065 or something like that. It basically does the same thing for football, but
yeah, here's just a quick. I don't want to get any trouble here, but I will show what I can. So so that's kind of what it looks like. It's
yeah.
That's Baseball Highlights 2045.
Yeah, it's weird because you're playing cards and all your cards have offensive and defensive values on them, and you have to decide if you're using them for offense or defense. So I don't know, it seems a little weird, and I don't know how well it would play solo because you're playing against somebody. So I don't know. I don't have it, so I guess I shouldn't say.
It's not a baseball game per se,
right?
I mean,
but it is technically because that's the theme. But I mean, that's all it is the theme. It's basically you're playing cards that are giving you different advantages and disadvantages for both offense and defense, and you have to decide what you're using. So it can just come down to whoever's got the better cards too. Oh, you got all the high cards and I got all the low cards.
Right.
You're gonna win.
Right, exactly. Where are we here now? And Harold says the sports board games have become expensive due to seasons. Some computer versions all include. Yeah, so you can buy a computer game and get everything. The mogul games. Was it Second and 10? You get everything. There's a handful of games that some Digital Diamond, Pocket Pennant Run. You get everything as well. So there's a handful of games you get everything. OTP. You get everything. So yeah, there's a handful of games that you can get all of them there.
And they definitely make these a better value, don't they? If you get all the season files.
Yep. I mean, I get it that you get the strats or whatever that you need to buy the seasons from, and in the inside sports games you got to buy the season. And that's how they make their money and survive. When you throw out everything at once, that's it. It's a one-time buy. So it's great for the consumer, but does the game company get by on that?
Well, I mean, I understand that point, and I've seen people post in the comments that I don't feel bad if I buy season files and never use them because I'm supporting the people that made the game, and I'm supporting them by buying their season file, and I agree with that. But I also see the other side of the coin, which is the companies out there shouldn't abuse their customers and should give them better value for their money. if possible.
Mm.
And they shouldn't just jack the prices up just because we can't make as good a profit margin unless we increase the prices. So
It all depends. I mean, if the price of paper and ink go up and they're printing, then that's to be
well,
expected.
sure, and then
Yeah.
they got to do that, then that's
Yeah.
fine. But just to do it just because that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I hear you on that.
I
Alan
mean-
says I tried Dice Nut Talk. Yeah, Ice Nuts or Dice Nuts. Really didn't like it. I have it, and I try to I read the directions and it wasn't clicking with me. And what I didn't like about it was, I think you would say, okay, I'm gonna Ray Bork versus Chris Chelios. So we can look at the chart, but because this guy's now this 8 turns into a 6, and games like that just maybe if I played it would be fine. But anytime you get a game that says, okay, here's the number, but it's really gonna be this. Sometimes I don't like those games.
No, I'm all against the games that like the
Give
one
me-
thing,
give me
the
a number.
the one thing I don't like about inside the crease hockey is a lot of times you'll have loose puck and it'll be between this player and this player, but this player gets like a +4 and this player gets like a +1. So I'm gonna look, this guy's a 6 +4, this guy's an 8 +1, and they gotta do a bunch of math just to find out who gets a loose
Yeah.
puck. Are
Well,
you
the good
kidding
thing
me?
about the PC game is it does the math for you.
Right, it does.
So
It
so
says,
if
"This guy."
this guy's a 5 and this guy's a 5, but one guy gets +4, this guy's a 9, and now you know who gets it. So
Right.
I do like with that. JT 2.0 is way better than JT 1.0. Let me tell you.
JT 1.0 was better.
A
You
deep
can't do
slash,
better than the original, man.
Deep Gaming likes the deck builder stuff. I started to get into deck building with that Star Realms is what I did, and I'm really enjoying that. And I haven't found. I picked up a couple of games on Steam that were deck building games. They were okay. I still think Star Realms is the best. It just flows for me. There's actually one game. It's called Power Chord, and it's a heavy metal band card game. And so you got your 3 or 4 band members over here, and you're fighting the enemy, and you pull up your cards, and you're like, damn, and then the drummer's like, and you're attacking the enemy, but with music, and you're using the cards.
Okay.
So it's like a battle of the bands type of thing going on.
Okay.
And it was just on sale, and I think it's still in beta, by the way. But I played the demo of that. It was okay. It was okay. It was kind of fun,
That's good. That's cool.
Let's see. Let's see. They're talking about a game here. Which one are they talking about here? It's a highlight game, just like play games are, and it plays horribly solo. Was that the baseball game we were talking about? Or was it Dice Nuts? I'm not sure which one they were talking about here. Baseball Highlights is a deck builder with a baseball theme. Okay, with a theme. That's what it is. It's a deck builder game. Okay. And he said it's great solo. Okay. I've heard of Pizza Box Football, Doug. I've heard of Pizza Box Football. I don't know much about
were
it.
around when it came out. I was at Origins when it first came out.
And I've had a lot of pizza in my day, but I've never seen a football game on there, And so you said you buy cards, you get what you like in baseball highlights. Okay. Charles says the best part of baseball highlights is the back and forth when your opponent's playing cards in a random order, you can really strategize. Thus, it fell flat for me. Okay. 25 to $30 for season, hard to buy these. Yep. And Doug says, Dice Nuts is good, but you can lose your interest. Okay. I watched some of the Dice Nuts games. They're just older games. They need better videos. When they were doing the videos, it was like this format. It wasn't the wide format. That's how old the videos are. It's like, do some better videos. Get me excited about it. When the video's like shadowy and it's echoey because you're in your kitchen, it's time to do a better one,
I've mentioned that during the War Room because there's war game designers that they're designing a brand new war game and they got this low quality dark video and they put it out on the internet and I'm like, dude, this looks horrible. How are they going to sell your game?
I never heard of this one either. Bottom of the ninth card game on Steam is a fun little game. Only $1 and Canadian and dollar and change right now. That's why I haven't heard of that one there.
No, never heard of it either. Bottom of the ninth. Sounds like a good title.
Yeah. It must be hard now to come up with a title for a baseball game. Like everything's been used.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
seriously. I mean, what baseball term has not been used in a baseball game? I can't think of one.
Yeah, right. I can't either. Now that, yeah.
In bottom of the ninth started as a board game. Interesting.
Well, that's good.
And it says you are playing the last half of an inning. Oh, interesting. Might have to check that out.
Playing the bottom of the ninth, I guess.
I'm gonna write that down. Let's put bottom of the ninth.
It's not a stat game, he says.
Okay, but it's fun. Okay, then that could be kind of cool. Nice. Well, we'll wrap it up here, folks. We didn't expect to go this long, but ID jumped on, and we had a nice little chat here tonight. Very lively crowd again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So again, we go back to our original question. You know, is it okay to not like a game? And I wrestle with that. I do, because there's a lot of great games. We get the classics. The APRA and the Strat and things like that are classics. But then we have some newer people that have created some newer games. I call them newer games because they're not 40 or 50 years old. And some of those are fun. And then you get some games that are some games work and some games don't for you. And I feel bad when I don't like a game because. And sometimes it's me. It's just not what I want, or maybe not what I'm in the mood for right now. And right now, I just can't sit still and play a football game on the PC. And don't know what it is. I just, Strat's having their sale, and I started writing down some seasons. And when I put in the football game, I said, you know something? I don't think I'm going to get any football season because I don't think I played a full game. Maybe one Strat football game in full. And I just have a hard time with that. So, and it's bumming me out.
Because it's the football game, or is it just because you're not engaged? Like it's an interactive game.
Right? I have the same problem sometimes with the Strat PC hockey, whereas I play a period and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be here another hour playing this, And the same with Second and 10 and action PC games. I get all excited to play and I play a quarter of football or a period of hockey, and it just loses interest in me. Unless I'm streaming it and I'm talking to people, like if I'm playing by myself, maybe it's the click, 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 click. You know what I mean? Maybe it is that. Maybe I'm more engaged with cards and dice. Maybe that's what I'm into right now. Maybe that's just what rolling the dice and figuring it out is what I want to do.
Yeah, I think it sounds like it's just you're just not a digital player. Because it doesn't sound like any of those make you very happy. No,
and it's aside from the Inside Blitz, which is you're figuring things out and you have to click on the right things. That's the one I like the best, I think. But anyway, I do feel bad that I'm not liking some other games, and there's a handful of games that just right now I'm not liking, and I don't know why. I don't hate them, haven't thrown them away, but they're not making my table. They're not even on deck.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, I mean, you go through these stages, and like I said, in the beginning, I just wanted all the really hard, deep, involved games. Nowadays, I don't want those. I want the more easy to flow games. I want the easier to get on the table, the games that take less space. Your tastes vary as you play through,
and it might change. I might sit down in 6 months and absolutely love it.
Yeah.
That's the thing is that I tastes do change, and right now I'm in a certain vein of playing games, and that's what I like, and just I was bummed out when I said, well, I ain't buying any Strat football seasons because I don't think I'm gonna be playing it, and it's not the game, it's just right now it's just me and the baseball game I love, and I'm gonna get that's where I'm gonna go. The sale is gonna go right towards the baseball. It really is, But thank you everybody that tuned in tonight. We had a really fun chat, very lively chat.
Yeah,
it's well, I don't know if it fails as a solo game because you can play advanced on there if you want. I just don't know.
Alan,
I don't know what it is.
Alan, I would say, all you Stat football players, watch for a video here from me in the next couple weeks. I did a video last year on a solo variant for Strat football, and I passed it out to a few players. And Tebow is one of them, and I think Tebow is going to do a video on it. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm
Charles says He wants to get me off the digital dice roll. Well, honestly, I'll be quite honest with you. I love this app I have on my phone. Let me see if I can show you this app real quick. It's a dice roller, and you can set it up for whatever you want.
Oh, yeah.
It's on the phone, and again, if you hit the button here, you can add dice,
Okay, yeah.
and you can add
Wow,
again
that's a great app. Yeah.
from the D2 all the way up to D100.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Nice.
I'm gonna add the 100, right? So now I got a D100 on there. It's hard to see, but I mean
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
there. So I can set this up for strat. I can put 3 6s and a 20 on there for strat. I can just have it for the Yappa.
Right.
Momentum Football has 4 different D6s on there, different colors. And the reason I use that is my arms, I have so bad tendonitis in my arms from playing hockey. It's not a joke that sometimes I can't even raise my arms. It hurts that bad. And so when I go to roll dice, when I pick up dice and I roll dice, it's the same motion. And I found that when I didn't do that, it feels better. There was one day I played a lot of games and I was rolling dice and I get done. I was like, oh man, this is killing me. And so as stupid as it sounds, just that same movement of picking up the dice and dropping them in the tower is the same motion I'm using for hockey. And I got to rest that. So I just take my phone and I just go tap and I get the dice roll. And it saves me from my arm. As stupid as it sounds, but just
great.
when you get old, this stuff happens here, and just I tend to play it. When I play a lot, and I was doing a lot of dice rolling, and it's just hurting my arm. It just because my arm was already hurt, and so that's why I've been using the phone. Stupid as it sounds, but Can I really go digital to dice if the dice are digital? Yes, I'm still playing on the tabletop. I still have my card. I got my cards, right? I got my cards. I got my Norman, my Stadler, and my Kite, couples, whatever. So yes, I can still play digital to dice. And the stars are up on Vegas, huh? Oh, stars not going away. Interesting.
Not yet.
I thought Vegas was going to take them to it, but the stars are hanging in there. You never know. So. Anyway, all right, folks, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks, everybody that came in tonight. And, again, let us know. Is it okay to not like a game? Let us know. And, like I say, I don't want to make a big deal out of the games I don't like, because I like every game. I do, but just sometimes I get frustrated. It's like, why don't I like this game? Why don't I like it, So, and ID, thanks for coming in and being the co-host tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and great conversation, great group of guys, and glad to be here.
Alrighty. So we'll talk to everybody later. Thanks for coming in, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.